G'day, welcome to Deep and Meaningfuls with Furzey. On this episode of the pod, I'm chatting with Lee Novak. Lee is a bass player, and he's a damn good one at that. He's done a lot of really cool things in his career. Most notably was the bass player for Savage Garden. He was there for the first gig, he was there for the last gig, everything in between. They did some insane shows, enormous arena tours, the biggest shows you can do, basically. Lee's done them. We talk all about that, how we got the gig, what it was like being on the road, what it was like being part of that band. It's a really fascinating story. Savage Garden was Darren Hayes and Daniel Jones. Lee currently plays with Darren Hayes on his solo stuff. I know Lee because I have the privilege of being one of the singers in a classic rock covers band called the Filthy Animals. Filthy Animals is like an Aussie rock supergroup of legends from Australia. I don't know how I snuck in there, but hey, I'm not complaining. And Lee is one of the bass players. I get to make music with Lee all the time. Lee's a wonderful man. I love being in his presence. I love making music with him, and I really enjoyed this conversation. So I hope you do too. Here is Lee Novak. Just pull that right up. Yeah. You can really eat it. So you can kind of yank it around there if you need. Just pull it to you.
Like that. Just right on.
Yeah, you get in there, mate. Like Will Howard.
Get it going.
Howard Stern. There you go. Yeah. So I was doing it initially, just doing the audio ones, and I'd edit them a little bit, and I was doing a whole bunch of them. That was good, but I was wanting to do the video ones. But then what happened? We got pregnant. Lolly got pregnant, and life just got too hectic. And I wanted to get back into it. Yeah. It was also, she was pregnant during COVID.
Right.
So it was right when everything was mental.
Yeah, it was messy, eh?
Yeah, it was really messy.
What a time.
And I know, and I had some, and I still do have some opinions that were not the mainstream opinions about that stuff. And I was like, I can't bring this heat into my life at the moment. I've got a child coming. I'm just going to hold off.
Yeah.
And then,
cool.
And then I just couldn't. I just kept wanting to do it. So I thought, fuck it, let's just do the video thing. And we started it up at the end of last year.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
And how many guests do you think you've had on?
This will be episode 37, 38.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Yeah. I try and do one a week.
Do you?
Yeah, but I just took like a month off.
Yeah.
I got that flu, dude.
Oh,
Did you get it?
I haven't yet, man. Touch wood. Like a lot of people are getting sick.
It's been brutal. It really smashed all of us.
Yeah.
Our daughter had to take her home from daycare. She was real sick. She was really sick. Had to take her to hospital.
Oh man.
Yeah, she was just because we didn't know how bad it was. It was going to be quicker to go to the hospital.
Totally.
She was super red, terrible fever, and just
not good.
Yeah, really, it was the sickest she's been. But she took it really well. Actually, she was all good by about a week.
Yeah,
she was fine. But
these flus, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know about you, but I think these flus seem to be getting worse.
Well, this year they certainly
or
do.
Something. I've got opinions about it too, but like probably not on podcast.
Man, this is why I do the podcast. Yeah. Fuck it, Come on, let's go.
I've got my thoughts about it just from my own body.
Yeah. Well, I reckon one of the things that's happened was because they locked us down. And we weren't.
Yeah.
Like that was a long time.
I know it was. It was
were
hard.
Were you up here?
Yeah.
We were in Sydney.
Yeah.
And Sydney was almost as bad as Melbourne.
Right.
Melbourne was ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. I think Melbourne had the record or something for the city for the longest lockdown in the world or something like that.
In Australia.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
300 and something days or whatever.
That's
amazing.
I think. It's kind of disturbing.
Mate, it took a toll on everybody's mental health and incomes and all sorts of things.
But like here, of all countries, that's the thing that's so interesting to me. Made me kind of really think like, wow, I never thought that. I've never thought that would happen in Australia. I didn't think we were like that. I didn't think that we was the kind of country where the powers that be would ask us to tell us to do that, and that we would just do it.
Yeah, I've kind of known or felt that our culture is that way. We are like that.
Well, yeah.
We are. We'll just,
Yeah.
Just suffer the consequences, not question. Just trust. Just do it because you're told.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I naively thought that we were less like that than we clearly are.
Yeah, we really are.
Yeah. So we're in Sydney. It was a long time. And so my theory is that because we were locked down for so long and people weren't mingling, that bugs were we weren't exposed to the normal things that we're exposed to. And
Yeah.
But see, then that kind of theory breaks down because it's 2024.
Yeah.
We've been out of lockdown for 3 years?
3 years or something like that.
So you'd think that, I don't know.
Difficult time. Music, I mean, was like, for people like us, like everything was gone. So it was like, man. And I suppose people who were being creative and being productive did things like podcasts and recording at home and writing songs, and there's still things to do, but the bills still have to be paid. So that was just a difficult time. I hope we never have to go through something like that again.
Oh man, I
don't think we will.
I would like to think
I don't think we will.
that we wouldn't put up with it again. Now here's the thing: if it were necessary, then of course would put up with it. But looking back, we can look at those lockdowns and go, that didn't work.
No.
That was pointless.
Yeah.
Because like there were so many things about it that were just so ridiculous to me. But like the one when people were allowed to go out to restaurants and stuff, but everyone was wearing masks.
Yeah.
And then they take the mask off to eat the food.
Yeah.
I'm like, hang on a minute. Yeah. Wait. Or like on a plane. You can go on a plane. You've all got to wear a mask. Yeah. But when your meal comes out, you take the mask off. I'm like, hang on a minute. Yeah. If I'm going out and there's a fucking virus out there that's going, that air is so bad that everyone has to wear masks and we're going to die, I'm not going anywhere. If you take the mask off, we're fucked. You know what I mean? Is that not normal logic? Like that if you take it off and you breathe,
well,
isn't it ruined?
It only takes one breath, I guess, right? Like your 2 point, like
take
the mask off.
The other thing, it's like if you can breathe without an intake valve, it's all coming through anyway.
Right. What's supposed to filter? I don't know. Look, who knows?
Yeah. It didn't.
I don't know. I'm just happy that, well, when everything opened back up, obviously, like our work, really
came back to life
very well, like in a strong way.
Yeah.
So that was, I guess, one positive, I suppose. It probably made me sort of sit back and think, well, like how do I want to say this? I probably, you lose sight of, I did, of the gratitude of being able to do what it is that I do or that we do, because you're doing it all the time. And then when it's taken away from you and you realize, oh, hold on, man, this is my life. This is my identity. This is who I am, and I can't do it. I can't play music live. I can't tour. I can't do shows. I can't do this. So having that taken away from me made me realize just how much you kind of lose sight, like just how much that meant to me and how much of my identity it is. It's who I am. So when everything opened back up and we were out there playing and touring and doing shows, it made me so much more grateful. It was like a check. It was like a check for me, and I really, it wasn't worth the lesson. It was, but at the same time, man, like I still haven't lost sight of just how lucky we are to do it, what it is that we do, and I think I did lose sight of it. So,
I completely agree with you on that. I completely agree. I
really felt that.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people lost. I think that a majority of people would even say that just as a punter, just who enjoy listening to music.
Yeah, good point too.
That was so many people were just like, fuck this thing. I need to go out.
Yeah.
I need to go and be around people and see some music.
Listen to music, be with my friends.
Yeah.
Be in that environment.
Yeah. It was huge. So, and they were feeling it, let alone people who were like
us performers.
It was I was totally with you. I was like, wow, I have been taking this for granted so much.
I did for sure.
Yeah. And it was, you're right. I completely agree. It was a really nice reality check.
Yeah, I needed it. It was good. And it makes you just grateful, when we get to do what we do.
Yeah.
Sometimes we gig, you and me, we play in a band, and sometimes I'll just sit back like as a third person in my own mind type of thing and just go, hang on, have a look at this. And I'll look at the audience, and I'll look at my brothers in the band and just go, man, this is cool. Like I am so stoked to be here right at this moment.
Yes.
And just be in the moment.
Being in the moment.
Like right there, in the moment. Nothing matters. Nothing.
Yes.
And that is powerful. I love that. Like, and it's not a conscious thing. It just comes to me like, oh, we'll be somewhere, we'll be doing a show, and bang, I'll just be in this cocoon of my own mind, of my own thoughts, just looking and just go, man, I can't believe I'm doing this. This is so cool, man. I love this.
And it's it's awesome to bring it into consciousness as well.
Yeah.
Because it can pass you by. We've all, I mean, I know
For sure.
you, and I can't wait to get into it. You have done some huge gigs, and they can just, even that, like I'm sure that Dave Grohl has times when he's phoning it in, you know, like when he's just like, he's at work rather than, and then we'd have to go, hang on a minute, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm playing at Wembley Arena here in front of 100 billion people.
Yeah.
You know?
And there's people here the audience who have taken time out of their lives, their schedules, they've paid money for a ticket and they've made an effort to come and see you. It's a big deal. Like, you know, again, like when we do shows and it's a sold out, you know, not those sort of size venues, of course.
Similar, but it was close.
Close.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, I think about that too. I think, you know, just again, that piece, it might sound a bit corny, but just grateful. Like the people are actually coming out and listening and supporting and digging what we're doing. Whereas before, probably just maybe took it a bit for granted. Again, when it's taken away from you.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, hold on.
I really miss
I can't
this.
take this for granted because it's not just on a plate handed to me.
Yeah.
I'm lucky to be doing it.
I think it's a really beautiful reality check because I do the same now.
Yeah.
And I've tried to stay as conscious while I'm performing as I can. It's because there was a good chunk of time where I really wasn't. I really wasn't kind of paying attention to what I was doing and what was happening in front of me, and looked back at some of the really cool experiences that I had and realized, oh, fuck, I missed it. You know, like I can't remember what it was specifically, but there was a couple that when I look back, I see footage of it or I look back at what it was and I'm like, oh, I wish I was more present because it's gone. I didn't realize that it would be gone when it was happening, you know?
Oh, you're touching on something right. Well, I mean, it's true because, you know, I can definitely attest to that. Like when I was a young guy in my 20s and touring with, you know, the big band, Savage Garden that I toured with.
Yeah.
You know, case in point, like it was like my teenage childhood dream to do that with my career, and then one step leads to the next, and next minute you find yourself in that situation. Yeah. But then, when you're doing that level of work for years, you sometimes miss it. Like it's straight over the top, you know.
And it's I guess it's like that you know, that old saying, grass is always greener. You know, you think about it's there for a reason because it's easy to just, no matter what you're doing, to just take it for granted, to just not be present. And I guess that's where if you can have some kind of mindfulness practice to be able to go, especially if you're doing something really cool, to go, hang on, this is inevitably going to be gone sooner or later.
Correct.
The cooler it is, the sooner it's going to end, you know?
That's a really good way to put it. The cooler it is, the sooner it's going to end.
But then again, well, I think that's
kind of true.
That's I guess like entertainment industry stuff. Yeah,
it is.
I think, you know, in life, you know, like being a dad is that hopefully is not going to end anytime soon whatsoever, and that is the coolest thing. But as far as the entertainment industry is concerned, the cooler it is, the sooner it's going to end.
It's kind of true, hey? You can't take it for granted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So let's talk about Savage Garden.
Yeah, let's.
Because that was...
Yeah.
So let's go back. How old are you now?
Just about to click 48.
Okay. Oh, wow.
I'm getting there.
Aging awfully gracefully, mate.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, nearly.
Fuck yeah.
Nearly.
It's awesome.
It's getting there.
My dad used to do that. He'd come in. It'd be raining. Dad's as bald as they come.
Oh, yeah?
And when I was a little kid, I always loved this joke. He'd come in and he'd be all wet and he'd go, oh, hi, guys.
That's gold.
Yeah. So how did that start? Because Savage Garden was massive.
Do that again?
Yeah, I can't. No. I don't know how you write that down, but you know,
it's a long.
Yeah. It was it was just huge.
Yeah, it was huge.
And you were there from nearly the get-go.
Yeah. So the way it came, I joined the band, Darren and Daniel, Savage Garden. I joined in 97 and I'd auditioned.
So what were they? then.
Yeah.
Before that, was it just like a songwriting project?
Yeah, the guys were playing together in a cover band in Brisbane, Gold Coast area.
Oh, they're Queensland guys.
Yeah, Brisbane Southside boys originally. And we're playing in a cover band, and Darren and Daniel broke off and started to write songs together, and clearly the songwriting chemistry, it speaks for itself.
Yeah.
They had written a bunch of songs, and obviously which made up their first record, and they got signed to a label and so forth, and needed to put a band together.
Sure, okay.
Because they got to that point where
they got the deal.
Yeah, they had the deal, and the record was about to come out.
Oh wow! So it was all just like for them.
First single was in rotation on radio and music video, TV, and what have you. So yeah, they had to put a band together to start doing the promotional sort of side of the touring.
Yeah.
So we might get into it later, but two aspects of touring: the promo side, then the concert touring side. So we're putting a band together for the promotional side of the touring work to promote the singles as they were released. And obviously, no one knew the gravity or the extent of what was going to happen so quickly.
Yeah.
But I auditioned for the band.
How did you get the audition?
Yeah, it's a cool story because I was, 19 or 20 years old, and I was still living at home with my parents as a young guy.
Mate, milk it as long as you can.
Yeah, I was a gigging bass player, gigging musician.
How long had you been playing bass for at that point? Like a long time?
Yeah, well, I'd started playing when I was 12.
Playing bass?
Yeah.
Wow, why?
Yeah, well, my dad...
Because no one plays bass. Like
no one just
you know what I mean? But it's always people it's always like
guitar or drums.
There's you guys, right, who are like, you're a real fucking bass player, which is cool, which is rare, dude. Because most bass players are guitar players who play bass out of necessity.
Yeah, I've seen some can. Yeah,
a lot of them are like, we need a bass player, man. Do you reckon you can? I know you play a bit of guitar, but could you play bass?
Yeah, you to jump
on.
Yeah,
I want to be in the band. Fuck yeah, I'll play bass. I think every guitarist at some point has played bass in a band.
Yeah, yeah, probably right. Yeah.
But so why did you at 12 be like, no, I want to actually play bass?
Well, my dad is a bass player. My father.
Okay, cool.
So when I was a kid, that's all I knew of my dad. My dad was a working musician, still is, even today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He likes to play he's in that sort of rockabilly and rock and roll and
Does
country.
He play upright?
He does play upright.
Wow.
He does play upright and electric bass. But yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, Dad was gigging.
Yep.
Working a lot, especially back then, like in the 80s, like it was a different scene again than it is today. So there was probably a lot of work. So he was a full-time working musician, like a lot of people were, and could support their families that way. And so that was normal to me. And I remember when I was maybe 9 or 10 years old, my dad bought me this little 3/4 inch sort of 3/4 scale or half scale size bass guitar. I still have it. And because I keep everything. And he tried to get me interested to learn the bass then. And he used to pair me up with one of his mates' sons who was a little bit older, and he had a small guitar, and we used to jam, but I couldn't take to it. I was a bit young and just couldn't take to it. But it was, I remember the school holidays between when you're in grade 7 and go to grade 8. There's that 6 weeks or 7 weeks of school holidays there. And I was a bit of a wayward kid. I would get bored easily and I would play up. And I mean, like, epically, I wasn't a good kid, man.
What did you do?
All sorts of things.
See, I was a real boring good kid. I got naughtier as I got older.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've gone the other way.
Behave yourself.
Try to. But yeah, so I mean, my dad was probably quite smart because he probably saw, okay, this is going to be a long school holidays. This kid's going to muck up.
Yeah, right.
Well, let me see if I can just touch on this bass guitar thing again.
Yeah, he's like, fuck, what can I got to do something. What can I do?
Like, I can't lock him in the bedroom, but what can I kind of do to lock him in the bedroom?
Yeah.
So I remember.
And make him think it's his idea.
Yeah, it was kind of like
it's kind of genius.
Yeah, genius way he went about it, because he said, listen, he just approached me one day, hey, do you want to learn to play the bass guitar? Like it was the first time he'd asked. He'd asked before, but it was a few years back. So it had just gone.
Yeah.
And I just said, yeah. like something was, I don't know, I was just ready. I was just ready.
Ready for something to do.
I was just ready.
Yeah.
I was just ready now. All of a sudden, I don't know.
And you're 12.
Yeah, I was 12.
Yep.
So as a kid, Dad gave me an Ibanez jazz bass copy.
Yeah.
Which was a nice bass at the time,
Yeah.
and a little 10-watt bass amp. The brand was Gorilla.
Okay.
The amp was this big.
Yeah.
Gorilla.
Great.
Yeah.
The bottom
Gorilla.
end, would have been amazing.
I thought it was epic.
Yeah.
Lead, but he gave me which I keep everything. He gave me a book and cassette tape, like an instructional book. Mm-hmm. With basic exercises in the book, right?
Oh, a bit of theory.
Yeah, like just basic stuff, right?
Yeah.
Really basic exercise where you teach yourself. You just put the cassette tape in, cassettes in the tape player, and you just play along with the exercises, and they talk you through the exercises. So he gave me all that and said, off you go. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I just set it up myself, kind of just knew from watching him do it. I guess I knew what to do in terms of plugging
Looks
it
like
in.
this goes in there.
Yeah, the lead goes here, that goes there. I turn it up.
Yeah.
Okay, I put the tape in, open the book, telling you how to tune up, all the things.
Yeah.
And really basic exercises. So I just literally, for that school holidays, from the first note, from the first exercise, I fell in love with this. I fell in love with it. So I just learnt that book from cover to cover during that 6 weeks. Like I'd gone through the book. And I was
Smashed it out.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I'm enjoying this. Like I'm loving it.
Cool.
I'm liking this.
Cool.
So my father
was there like any written theory? Did you learn how to read music or anything?
There was like written music plus the tablature, like the numbers.
Yeah.
So at that time, just being a kid with Dad didn't help me, guide me, nothing. He just stayed away from me, probably just to leave me be, right, with it.
Let you drive.
But I just read the numbers, like
Yeah.
I just
Can
followed.
you read music now?
Oh, a little bit. I haven't for a long time, to be truthful, like since school, really. And I haven't.
Obviously, haven't needed to.
Well, I haven't needed to be honest, like what I've done.
Yeah.
It's all been just, learning things by ear, like for a tour or for an artist or what have you. How can you do these songs? Yeah, cool. And you just go and learn them by ear. So it's kind of been the way I've gone about it, for my career at least.
So far, so good, mate.
Yeah, it's been okay. It's been fine.
Seems to be working out all right.
It's been okay. So, yeah, Dad just kept giving me these instructional books with cassette tapes or instructional VHS videos, which I still have because I keep everything. No, not Victor, like Lewis Johnson and Jeff Berlin and, all these other, guys. So I would just when you're that age, the brain is so malleable and you can just absorb, like you can just learn, right? So, I was in school and doing a reasonable job in school, just ticking the box, to not get my backside bloody belted from my father. But, music was my thing. And getting into school, I joined a band with some kids, like some guys who were older than me, like, grade 9, grade 10. So when you're grade 8, it's like, that's a big thing, man. Like these kids are older than me and they've asked me to play in their band because I'm playing bass and they need a bass player.
You are killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the first
playing
band.
with the big kids.
Yeah, the first band I was in was called Anarchist Posse. Now,
that's fantastic.
Anarchist Posse.
It's so metal. It's actually quite punk.
Anarchist Posse. So we played
Anarchist Posse.
We played punk covers and rap. So we played.
Of course you did.
Yeah,
of course you did.
We
it's
played
perfect.
Dead Kennedys, Sex Pistols.
Yeah.
We played Run DMC.
Okay.
Beastie Boys.
Amazing.
And that was it because these guys were skaters.
Yes.
Right. They were skegs. They were skater guys.
course
And
they
I
were.
didn't skate because I didn't have the coordination, but I hung out with them.
Yeah.
So Anarchist Posse, I've actually got, because I keep everything, I've got cassette tapes of our jams.
Oh, wow.
For
dude.
real.
I
have cassette tapes
I
of
need
our
to hear
jams.
these. You got to dig them out sometime.
I have them.
Bring them to a gig. We just got to find a cassette tape player.
I've got one.
Of course you do.
My ghetto blaster from when I was 10.
Bro,
I've got it.
Bring it to the next gig. I need to hear Anarchist Posse.
It's cool. I'll bring it. I've got the tapes.
Yeah.
So I was playing with this band and they were my brothers, man. Like it was the first time that I experienced what that is like, playing in a band and you're with people that you love that are your brothers. You become a family and it's a brotherhood, man. And you know that feeling. You're
the best.
There's nothing like that.
Yeah.
When you're making, playing, creating, whatever. music
Yeah.
with your brothers.
I think you form such a deep bond because in order to be creative, in order to create something together or alone, there's a certain level of vulnerability you have to access because you're bearing yourself, and especially if you believe in it, it's really vulnerable because you're like, I think this thing that I've made, this baby, is worth showing to the world.
Yeah.
And that's a big risk because the world might stomp all over it.
Yeah.
So when you do that with a group, that there's a certain level of vulnerability that you dive into together, and that bonds you really tight.
Yeah, it does for sure.
So I totally
expressing opinions, like sharing your creative
and your mates
thoughts and
going,
ideas.
I don't like that idea, and you've got to be able to handle that.
Yeah,
you've got to be able to eat that.
And you've also got to be able to, if you don't agree, try to soften that blow because you're dealing with somebody's, they've trusted you to
share an idea,
to share this with you.
Yeah.
So how to navigate.
Yes, that idea sucks. You're a shit person.
It's not that one. But when you're 14 and 13, 15, it is. But that's what that one.
That's what all feedback feels like a lot of the time.
Even if it's kind,
even if it's the kindest constructive criticism.
Going, oh man,
I'm a terrible person. I have to quit music.
I think I have to quit altogether. This isn't working out.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Don't mind my record. Like that. It doesn't
matter. Yeah. Jason didn't like my bass line for the
So we started like just jamming every weekend. So we'd go to the drummer's house and he had he was living with his parents, of course, and underneath we had a little, just a jam room set up. And
like in the basement?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And
perfect.
So Friday night we'd from school, we'd finish school Friday afternoon, we'd go to the drummer's house and then we'd stay there all weekend and I'd go to school on Monday from his house. We'd stay the entire weekend.
Oh, wow.
Just
rocking out.
Every weekend, rocking out. We had the drums, the bass amp, the keyboards. And this band was a big band. We had obviously your bass, drums, keys, guitar.
Oh,
the singer
5-piece.
was a rapper. There was a horn section.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like it was a big
you
band.
Guys went
because
in.
It was all the guys who were in the skater crew.
Oh, okay.
And everybody played instruments. And even if they didn't play an instrument, they were just there hanging. We had a big group of people.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? The older I've gotten, when I was younger, when I wanted to put together a band, it would always be like, I need to put together a band of the best musicians in the world, people that are way out of my league, and I'll be approaching them trying to get them in my band because that's what it needs to be awesome. And now I've gotten to a point where I've realised it's about the hang.
That's a lot of it is about that. Most of it.
Yeah.
Most of it is about that.
Yeah, because the imperfections are actually what makes it great. Because look at someone like Steve Vai or, Victor Wooten, some of these guys, incredible musicians. They're
out of this world.
Their talent is insanely good. But why are they not household names outside of the musician world? Because there's something about it that doesn't translate to folks that aren't musical. I think it's just it just goes over their head. It's like a complex math equation to someone who's not a mathematician.
Musical algebra or something. I don't know.
It just for whatever reason, it doesn't go in. Whereas when you have a band like Nirvana, by all due respect, as far as they play their instruments, they're pretty shit, especially Kurt. Dave's a great drummer, but they've got their flaws. Those guys are messy, and even the way he plays the guitar, the chords that he does, and but there's some genius in there.
Yeah, of course, there's a magical element to it that if you had the most perfect players, wouldn't capture.
It wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, which is something that's really fascinating, and that for whatever reason, that hang of those guys creating that music together created that music.
Absolutely.
So I love that at 12, you and your skater mates are you've gotten it. You're like, you know what? It's actually about.
It was the hang.
Yeah, Robbo. Do you play an instrument? No, we'll get you one. We'll get you one because we need to hang out with Robbo.
That's right. Yeah,
it's fucking cool, man.
It was great, man. It was such an amazing way to start.
Yeah.
But what was cool for me too personally was, and this might sound a little bit strange to say, but it's the truth. It was really the first time I recall in my life that I had people telling me, "Oh, hey man, you're really good. We want to hang with you. We want you in our band."
Yeah, right.
It was the first time that I'd really had like
your light was shining.
That real sort of positive reinforcement from anything, from people, anything, friends, whatever. I'd never had that coming up to that point.
Wow.
Right? So that was like, this is weird, man, but I'm loving this. So it just sort of like subconsciously maybe made me realize, hey, there's a link here between what I'm doing or attempting to do at that age, where I play the bass, and connecting with people and people at least liking what I'm doing and want to have me be involved in something. So there's a connection there. And obviously later as the years have gone on, you know, for me now and for the last 30 years of my career, you know, it's always in the back of my mind as to how can I contribute? What can I bring? Like, so if I'm playing with a band or an artist or going on a tour, whatever, what can I do here? What can I bring? What is my skill set? You know, we can maybe get into this more later, like unpack all that. But that's a real thing for me. Like, what can I bring here? What's my key difference? What can I do differently? What skills can I bring? How can I contribute to this?
Yes.
I kind of worked that out then, that if I play well and I'm a good hang, someone cool to be around, well, you've ticked most of the boxes. Most.
You actually have, man.
You've got to do other things too, but it starts with that.
That's a lot of them, dude.
It starts there. Like, you just be someone who's easy to work with.
Well, again, and on that vulnerability side of things, it's there when you're making music. And if you're shit, like a shit person, you're difficult and you're annoying, and your ego's too big and you're not fun to be around.
Right. And
that is just magnified because of the vulnerability of what you're doing.
And you can be the best musician at whatever instrument. Yeah. It does it. You could be 10 times better than us.
Yeah. But if you're shit to be around,
you're not getting anywhere.
Yeah, it doesn't outweigh.
It's not. No,
how important it is to be able to get along with each other.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure you do. I know many examples. I've seen them, and you see it.
We've all done it.
Yeah, we've seen it, and you go, okay, that's what not to do. You might be a monster of a musician, a monster player, but this, and this is going to hold you back for life.
Yeah,
and you just take stock of that and go, okay, it's not what you do.
Yep.
So got through school and coming back to that.
So how old are you guys when you're doing all those? You're still 12 or 12, 13, 14? Yeah,
13,
cool.
14.
So you guys have been...
We've been at it for a couple of years.
You've got a pretty good repertoire.
We were hanging and we would play at the school concerts, like end of term concerts and like, local festivals.
Yep.
I've got photos of us, on stage at 14 years of age at a big festival down at our local park and, with the big band and backing singers and horn sections and the rapper.
Were you guys kind of famous in your school?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
right. We were cool. No, we were cool, man.
That's awesome, man.
We were cool. We were cool, man. We're playing a band.
Yeah.
We're in a band, man.
I never got to proper cool status with my school band.
Oh, true.
We weren't able to stick with it long enough.
Oh, yeah.
But there was a band from a neighbouring city, punk band, and they were so cool that us in Orange knew the band from Dubbo was cool.
Yeah.
So they were still in school. Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
So come to sort of age 15, I'm playing and going well and learning and absorbing and getting better and just doing the thing as a young kid. And my father, he's been pivotal for me, man, obviously in my life as a musician. But he got me a job when I was 15 years old. So back in the old days, back in the day, there used to be in Brisbane a street in Fortitude Valley that had a series of music stores on the strip. And that was the place where everyone bought their musical instruments. Like there was no internet. You didn't buy a guitar online. You went to the stores. You went to the strip. You played the guitars. But not only that, again, to your point, it was the hang. It was where all the musicians went. To the strip, to the stores.
Yeah,
everyone went there. Everyone hung out there. My dad got
scattered a few rails.
No. My dad got me a job there. I was 15 at one of these shops, music stores, just retail. I was a kid. I had no idea. I'd just go to the store. They'd pay me cash, I'd go there and sweep the floors and dust and sell a couple of packets of strings. Yeah. But the thing was, I didn't realize at the time, of course, but the hang, everybody was there on a Saturday. Everybody in the music industry was there. So between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m., everybody come through. So I'm just a young kid and starting to get to know adult working musicians. And one thing leads to another. I start playing in working bands at 15, 16 years old.
Oh, wow.
I start doing recording sessions for original artists who are writing music in the studio at 15, 16, probably even 15 years old.
So you've been playing for like 3-4 years at this point.
Yeah.
There's an interesting thing that I observe. Like, I haven't gotten better at guitar for so long. Like, I'm 38. I don't think I've gotten better at playing the guitar for like at least 15 years.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe even more.
Yeah.
But so when do you think because there's a point when people are like, you just see someone and go, wow, that guy's an incredible musician.
Right.
That chick can play the piano, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
There's obviously a point where they got to somewhere near there and then have just kind of loitered around. Maybe they've leveled up a bit. But at what point were you like, oh, I'm actually really good at the bass, and people were noticing how good you were? Did it take you like 1 year? Did it take you 3 years? Did it take you 12 years?
It didn't take too long to get to a certain point with it because I played every single day.
Yeah,
now,
right.
when I got home from school every day,
what
did I do? I'd go and grab the bass. I played for 4 to 6 hours every single day.
Wow.
Every day. I loved it. It was just...
So that first year was just like...
Yeah. Exponential. And then playing in a band with my friends. It was just... And then getting in the music store and then working bands with 20, 25-year-olds as a 15 and 16-year-old. You just grow because of the people that you're around as well. So you have a baseline, pardon the pun, but you have a baseline of ability.
Yeah.
And then you get around people who are better than you.
Yeah, you have to
or have
rise.
more experience than you.
Yeah.
And you lift, you rise or you don't.
Yeah.
And you
rise or you don't get invited back.
Yeah, one of two things happen. You rise or you don't.
Yes.
So I just happened to. And I think being young, when you're young, the brain, it can just evolve and take on new information and learn quickly.
Yeah.
So as I've gotten older with my playing, obviously, I've added more skills to my playing and to my skill set, and I've gotten better as I've gotten older with certain tweaks on the discipline. But the foundation was
subtle
things.
Things that they do make a big difference. But yes,
the 1%ers, you start working on the 1% of things, and they really, again, take you to another level. But so 15, 16, it was sort of kind of there.
Yeah. Okay.
And then coming out of school, I was 3 weeks out of high school, and I had no idea what I was going to do. No idea.
Yeah.
And a band calls me up and says, oh, hey, listen, we're going to go on tour. It's just a cover band. We're going to go on tour, North Queensland. Our bass player can't do it. We're going in 3 weeks.
Did you know
2
these
weeks.
guys?
No, had no idea. They just knew me from the store, from
cool.
the reputation,
from the
scene, and just called me out of the blue and said, we're going on this tour and we need a bass player. I think it was a week or 2 weeks or something. We're going to North Queensland. Our guy can't do it. Would you be keen? I said, yeah. But no details.
Let's go.
Didn't know what songs or what to pay. I didn't care. Just going.
It's like there's this thing that's just sometimes just magnetized you to these things. Do you want to play the bass? Yeah. Do you want to go on tour with this? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just happened.
Not thinking about it, not analysing it, just giving an answer.
The answer is yes.
I want to, yes.
Yeah,
I'll work out the details later. But this is what I want to do. Yeah, I'll do that. I want to. So next minute, these guys, I'm at a rehearsal at their place and we go through the songs. Yeah, cool.
What kind of stuff you play?
That was just cover stuff, sort of the stuff, I guess, that we do, just rock.
Oh, okay, cool.
Just that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And jumped in their truck. They had a big truck with their own production, lighting and PA and a sound guy and everything. The whole kit.
Wow.
Because bands had that then. Yeah. They had their own stuff.
Yeah, well, people could afford to live, Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
So, up to North Queensland we go, and then was gigging 6 nights a week.
Whoa.
And, just one thing led to the next. Joined another band and toured with again, a cover band, toured with them for, I don't know, maybe a year or two or whatever it was, and worked a lot with them, all up sort of, maybe from Ballina, sort of Coffs up to sort of Port Douglas, and just did that circuit because there was still that circuit back then that you could do. Did that for a long time, did some overseas stuff. And it's leading me to the whole Savage Garden thing. This is how I sort of got there. But
yeah, and so by the time this even happens, you got more gigs than most under your belt.
Professional working musician.
Yeah, wow.
And
you're 18.
I'm working and I'm 17, 18.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm in it and I'm doing it.
Yeah.
For a living. So
in,
I was
in those formative years too, learning how to do that. Yeah, that's amazing.
And just working with lots of different people and just growing and having to level up, But I remember the second band that I toured with, that was a fantastic, really great band. And we used to go to, we used to travel all the time. And we used to play 5, 6, 7 nights, 8 nights a week, like twice on a Sunday. Like we just worked, right? Because it was that amount of work. But we used to go to a venue in, I think it was Ballina. Lismore, I beg your pardon. It was Lismore. We used to go to a venue in Lismore a fair bit. And these guys in the band that I was with at that time, they were into, like, it was the 90s. They were into the grunge era, Pearl Jam, Nirvana.
Alice in Chains.
Live, Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, all the great stuff we love.
Soundgarden.
Yeah, all the stuff we love, right? We love that stuff.
Yeah.
And I love it too. Like, I love a lot of different music. I like pop. I like all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, me too.
R&B. I like all kinds of things.
Yeah.
But back then, there used to be these TV screens in those venues, and you know, the old tube TVs, the big old, Sony TV.
Yes.
And they used to have that system called Nightlife.
Yes, Nightlife.
Remember Nightlife with the VHS tapes?
Yeah.
And it
was just on playing all the time.
Well,
Yeah.
So the Nightlife system, patched
it was
into
basically
the
like
PA.
Rage.
Yeah.
But just all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rage.
Yeah.
And it was just on the TVs right through the venue. And
yeah.
we'd be doing gigs there, and these guys were really into the grunge stuff, but this song used to come on this Nightlife system in whichever set break, like every time we'd go there, and it was Savage Garden, I Want You, their first single.
Anytime I need to see your face. Yeah.
Chicken Cherry Cola.
Oh,
right?
dude, I remember when I first heard that song too, I was like, whoa, this is awesome.
Me too.
Yeah.
I did the same. We were in this venue and this song used to come on.
Yeah.
No, and I was just going, man, what is
cool
this song?
Yeah.
I like that. What is this? And I didn't dare ask these guys. I didn't dare say, oh man,
couldn't expose yourself.
I really like this song.
Yeah.
I'd never said a word to these guys.
It's not very rock and roll, that song.
Especially with those guys. I mean, they were just, I just knew the reaction or the response I was going to get. I knew, I had enough experience to know. Don't say anything.
The minds were closed.
Just leave it. Yeah. Just leave it. But I used to really, man, it was catchy and I dug the song. And then I found out like sometime after the guys were from Brisbane. I'm like, what? These guys are from Brisbane. I really like this song. Who are these guys? And just never thought anything more about it. A few weeks later, I'm still living with my parents. I'm 19 and the phone rings at home. Lee, phone. Hello? And it's Daniel Jones on the phone, and he says, "Hey, this is Daniel Jones. I got your number from so and so, who's a friend of mine.
Yeah,
in the industry, in the scene."
Did you know who he was?
Yeah,
at this time, Daniel?
No, I didn't. I had no idea.
So this is just some random dude.
He's just called. He's gotten my phone number, looking for a bass player. He'd called up and said, "Hey, I'm Daniel Jones. I've got this band, Savage Garden.
Yeah, make it quick. I'm trying to play Mario Kart.
Yeah, we've got a song out.
Yeah,
and I said, "Oh, okay, yeah, cool. I know your song. I've heard your song. I play down in this venue and they have it on all the time. Okay, cool. I really love the song."
Were you tripping out?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about this.
This is the guy.
2 weeks ago, like, and questioning it in my own head, like, and the guy's calling me. What is going on here? And we had a chat on the phone, and he said to me, "Look, we've got a single out, which I Want You, and we're going to release an album soon. We've got more singles to come out. We need to put a band together to start doing the promotional side of our work so we can promote our singles and release our record." And he said, "Would you be interested to audition?" I said, "Absolutely, 100%. I'd love to." And I said to him, "Richard, maybe not, I don't know, I wouldn't do this now, but I said to him, look, I'm actually I've got a gig like Thursday night at one of the venues down here on the Gold Coast. If you want to come down, say g'day, check me out. You can see me play, see what I sound like. Just have a chat and say g'day.
Yeah.
You're welcome to. I'll be there at this time. If not, no worries. I'm happy to audition. So they, Daniel said, yeah, sure. We'll come down and say hi. So I was doing this gig and they walk in, Darren and Daniel walk in.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, because Darren then, man, he had this, he's a pop star, man.
Yeah.
And he was a pop star right from the get-go.
You're
and
right, before he was famous.
Man, he had the aura. There he was. Like, you know, he had this, he's a pop star, man, and he just was. Yeah, so they caught my attention. I'm like, okay, oh, God, okay, they're actually here.
Yeah.
So we finished the set and I just, jumped down.
No pressure.
Had a chat with them and they were just asking me, how long have you been playing for, this, that and the other. We just had a good chat. It went quite well.
Are they older than you?
A little bit.
Okay.
Only a few years.
Okay.
Yeah. But at that time, it probably seems like a lot older.
Sure.
When you're that age. But
I'm just trying to get, So there would have been a certain intimidation about them too because they're,
totally.
They've got
a few
this
years
deal,
older.
They're a couple years older than you.
They've got a record out. And
they're trying to find a bass player. It may not be you.
Correct.
Like,
yeah, they were in the audition process. Well, firstly looking, for candidates, I suppose you say, and then going to hold some auditions.
It's a big opportunity.
Yeah. So my name was in the hat in the ring, which was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
For a young guy.
Yeah.
And so we had the audition. So we'd sort of set that up, and I'd said to them, which again I don't know if I do now, but I said to them, look, I've actually got like a drummer and a guitar player that I've played with a lot over the years. If you want, I know you need to put a band together, but if you want, I could bring them and we could audition as a band, as like a package for you, if you want. And then he was like, yeah, cool, do that. Sounds good, because we do need drums, we do need a guitarist. So I sort of said to these two friends that I'd played in a band with when I was in school, who were older than me. They weren't in school. I was in school. I used to do gigs with them.
Yeah.
I said, do you guys want to come and audition? Told them the whole spiel. And they said, yeah. So we went to this sound room in Brisbane and auditioned as a band.
Wow.
And I remember the songs we played. We played some Red Hot Chili Peppers and all sorts of stuff. It was probably inappropriate for that kind of band. But
so
anyway.
were they singing?
No.
Okay.
No, it was just us as a band.
Oh, they were just watching.
Yeah, they were just watching.
Darren and Daniel weren't jamming with you.
No, they were just watching us play and listening to us.
Yep.
And because we'd played together before, we
pretty tight.
We were tight. We had that familiarity and I was able to play with the drummer, play in the pocket nice with him. And guitarist was very good.
You knew each other's feel.
We knew each other.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems pretty smart.
Well, maybe it was, but yeah, it was really just to try and help them out.
Yeah. They could have just said no.
Yeah.
If it was no good.
Like I didn't have a motive to sort of, think, this might get me an advantage. It was just kind of to help them.
Yeah.
Naively. But the audition went well, and then on the way home, I think I might have even just the early stages of a first mobile phone, and they called and said, oh, hey, listen, we really like the audition. We really like you as a bass player. We want you to join. And I said, oh, man, yes.
Wow.
I'd love to. I'd never played in an original band before other than just sessions, studio sessions.
Yeah.
So to play live with an original band whose music I really, really liked.
Yeah.
Man, my head was spinning.
Yeah. Wow, that's a moment.
Yeah, it was huge. It was huge.
And at that moment, as exciting as it was, you would have had no idea how big that would get because they were no one.
Yeah, they were just
they had
literally had the first single out.
And they had a song out. No one knew them?
No, not really. Yeah.
It was just a song on the radio.
Very, very early stages of.
And you're like, I just got a cool gig.
Yeah.
That's it. No idea what was coming.
It was the best thing that had happened to me in my career to that point.
So what year is this?
97.
97.
I think it was January 97.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we started doing some promotional shows and we'd play at places like.
So it was just you? Did they get a different band?
They got the guys as well. Oh, big sorry. They took us all. They took the three of us.
So it worked.
As a package, it worked.
It worked.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, for them, they're like, look, if you guys play together.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. They've got that shit figured out. That's one less thing for us to worry about.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And they'd auditioned drummers and guitarists and bass players in other states as well as in Queensland.
Sure.
And we got the job. So it was
cool.
It was kind of
brilliant. Worked out.
yeah, pretty good.
Good call.
Great call.
Yeah.
And we started doing shows like just promo gigs at like places like Westfield, Carindale. And
Okay, because
like
I was going to say, so what is at that point the difference between your promo gigs and so your live gigs are what everyone thinks of when you go see a band.
Yeah.
But what's your promo stuff?
So the promo stuff is when you are out, and this got big, but obviously when there are singles released, like say the band Darren and Daniel releasing singles, I Want You, Moon and Back, etc. And you go and you've got to do promo for those
radio
songs. So
station in the
radio
morning.
stations in the morning, like the guys would do interviews and we might play as a band, or you might do an in-store appearance in a shopping centre at that time, or
weird gigs, hey?
It's two different disciplines.
Yeah,
it's two different things. It's two different lines of work.
Yes, yeah, drastically, yeah.
So
you're playing at a stuffy little radio booth at 7 a.m.
Yeah,
is chalk and cheese to playing at a sticky nightclub with drunk punters at 11 p.m.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, the very first shows that we did with Savage Garden was, I think the first one was Coffs Harbour, and the second show was the Sunshine Coast, Mooloolaba. And so they were the first like live shows, and then we did some promo, like a lot of promo for the single releases. So again, shopping centres, radio stations, all that kind of thing. So the singles were just taking off on the charts. So there was just more work coming in, more promo gigs. And then they started to release singles in like different countries. So then we started, okay, guys, next week you're going to New York.
Oh, shit.
It's like,
so how big were the shows you were playing in Australia before you left to go overseas?
Well, they were just mainly those sort of promotional shows and the odd sort of like a club show. Yeah.
And they were packing out?
Yeah. But just small, just clubs.
Yeah.
Clubs.
Okay, so and 500 people.
Maximum, 200.
Sure.
Small clubs.
But here's the thing. Let's just talk about that. A room that is full, a small room that is full, and let's say the capacity is 250, like Lefties, for instance, there's an energy in that room. It's huge.
It can be more so than a 10,000 seater.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, that's interesting, and I feel like that in itself is not to be discounted.
Correct,
because you can. What I love about, and granted, I've played like 2 gigs to more than 1,000 people in my life, but what's really cool about a small packed venue is you can see faces.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can connect with individuals, and you can see the experience that they're having, and I feel like the sound is better. As a punter, when I go to gigs, I kind of don't go to stadium gigs anymore just because, like, you didn't make it, but I went to that Def Leppard, Motley Crue recently.
Yeah, I was at Sam Smith.
Oh, you were at Sam Smith, right.
Which sounded incredible.
Did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Were you close though?
No, we were up in the bleachers.
Really?
Good seats, but up high, the sound was incredible.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean,
because that's rare. Normally at those big gigs, it's just like you go for the
whoever was
atmosphere.
front of house engineer was amazing.
Crushing it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I get what you mean because you went to Suncorp.
Yeah. It was like stadium sound. Like there's just so much bouncing
delay,
and you can't see a thing, and it was just like, it's cool, but I guess I want to nerd out a bit more. I want to hear specifically what's going on. I want to see what's happening, and anything bigger than a theatre, you kind of can't really do that.
Totally get that.
You go for the atmosphere, but I want to know about the nuance a little bit more. Maybe that's just because I'm a musician, but
no. But there's smaller venues like when we play Lefties and it packs and it's sold out.
Yeah,
what a vibe! You get the energy right there, and there's people, you see faces.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of
people come up and try and kiss you while you're playing.
Well, that happened.
Yeah.
It's on video.
It's on video. Some random woman just, I'll have a piece of that. Why wouldn't she, mate? She's following her instincts, She
couldn't be helped.
Saw a tasty snack and she took a bite. Yeah. Okay, so you're doing these club gigs, lots of promo. let's go to New York.
Let's go to New York. You've got a week to get your passports. Like, what? So off we go, and the guys got an international deal, international record deal. So then, I mean, it just went like this. Man,
so fast.
It was just so fast. Like, and they started obviously releasing singles in different territories around the world, so different countries and different cities around the world.
How long do you think you had been in the band by the time you'd gone to New York?
Maybe 6 months. Maybe.
Oh, really?
Maybe.
Wow. Okay. You're right. I mean, that's just so fast.
Not even 4 months.
Wow.
Quick. It was fast. It was so fast. And we were so young and we had no idea what was coming or anything. I'd been overseas once before to the Solomon Islands playing, but that's not like New York City.
So you're 17, 18?
No, I would have been 20.
And Darren and Daniel are what, 23?
23 or 4.
Wow.
Yeah, 23 or 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was epic. It was huge, and we didn't stop for years.
You just didn't stop. That was it. You was just like,
years.
Let's go.
Years.
Went to New York and didn't stop.
Years.
Whoa. And you had no idea that was going to happen, right?
No, not at all. All over the world.
When did you think you were coming home? Didn't matter.
Care.
Wow.
Didn't care. Didn't necessarily want to go.
This is what you're doing.
Man. Because when I was in those formative years in school, like 13, 14, 15, I remember specifically that I would, like back in those days, again, no internet and this and that, so you couldn't just Google or what have you, something. But, throughout the year, awards shows or different concerts would come on TV, like, for example, the MTV Music Awards or the World Music Awards or the American Music Awards would come on. And like you'd get the TV guide and go, oh, okay, the American Music Awards are on Saturday night at 8:30. I'm going to watch that. And it was a really strange thing, but I would always watch those shows. And I would just, in my mind, it's hard to explain or articulate well, but like if Janet Jackson was performing on Madonna or an artist that I loved, I would picture myself as that bass player on that stage. Not that I wasn't thinking I'm sitting here watching. I was there. It was me.
Your perspective was always
me.
looking out.
It was me.
Yeah, wow.
It was me on stage standing behind Madonna or Janet Jackson or whoever it was. It was just in my mind, but it felt so real to me, like it was my soul communicating with me that, hey, I'm going to do that. I knew I was going to do that. I didn't know how, I didn't know when, but I knew I was going to do it.
That's so fascinating.
And it was just real to me.
Just a knowing.
I knew.
It was just, it's written.
I knew.
Wow.
Without any shadow of any doubt whatsoever, I knew, because I knew that I was going to do that. And then when I got to do it, I was like, this is ridiculously, this is insane. I knew I was going to do this. I knew it. So like even to this day when I still work with Darren, even now, like after all these years, I've had a long-term career with Darren. I stand behind him as a sideman musician, bass player, hired gun. That's my dream. It's my dream from a teenager to stand behind an artist and support that artist in my capacity as a bass player. I'm still living that dream when I get to do that work with people like him. So it's a trip. But I knew then, like, it was just real to me.
Awesome.
It wasn't like I wasn't watching myself. I was there in my mind.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like it's a soul thing. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing to think like what you're describing is something that we have no scientific tools to measure. We have no way of saying, of analyzing what that was, but something happened there.
For sure. I knew. I can't tell you strongly enough.
Yeah.
The feeling of knowing.
It's different. That's different to wanting. It's different
I knew.
It's just like, this is going to happen.
Knew.
Wow.
Yeah, I just knew. I was so at ease and at peace. I knew. It's hard to explain because that's not a conscious thinking. Oh, no, I'm going to do that.
It's already there.
It wasn't like that. It wasn't like, I wish I could do that. No, I didn't wish. I knew.
It's already happened.
It was already like it was already happening.
Yeah.
But it hadn't yet. And I didn't care as in to know or dissect or understand how or when. It didn't matter. It was irrelevant. I didn't even question, how am I going to do that? If this is what I'm meant to do, how am I going to do? Never even entered my mind, just knew. And so then when all this started to unfold, the next minute we're in New York City, I'm like, yep, okay, here I am.
Yep.
This is what I'm doing.
It's happening.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was, it just all fell into place.
Yeah.
And, we do big shows like, I don't know, like some of the bigger shows, we played at Madison Square Garden.
No way.
On a bill with like a lot of other bands like Matchbox 20, Aerosmith, for a big Christmas in July thing.
Wow. Like 40, 50,000 people?
Yeah. So, yes. And then we played places like shows like Party in the Park, which is at Hyde Park in London for Prince Charles's Trust. They do a big concert every year where they have multiple artists on over multiple days. And we played that twice with Savage Garden, once with Darren in his solo tour, one of his solo tours. And there's 100,000 people plus. So these are the biggest gigs that there are. Yeah.
Out of all the gigs.
Yeah, the massive shows. I mean, you look out and it's just
endless
sea of people. But to your kind of to your point before, like when we're doing a show at Lefties in Brisbane to 200 people, 250 people packed, 300 people packed house.
Yeah,
you can connect with people. They're right there. You can see people. There's a love and an energy. Like we are playing really unreal, and we're in the pocket, man. And there's an energy and a vibe in that room, and we're connecting.
Yeah.
There's that love.
Well, they're so close. You could kick them if you needed to.
There's that love, and people come up and kiss you.
Come up and kiss you.
Literally.
Like if you shake your head, you just get sweat on them. They're there.
You're singing, you're spitting on
people. They're eating it up, mate.
Right. But those big shows, I mean, the first row of people are like
30 metres away.
Yeah. Because there's all the punter barriers and security and cameras, film cameras for the big screens. So it's disconnected.
It's a disconnect.
It's disconnected in a big way. So you've got to try to think, well, how can I possibly connect? Okay, so I'm on the third line of the band. So, okay, you've got the artist up, so in this instance, Darren, and then you've got the band, like guitars and bass. So I'm on the second line back, and then you've got drums. So I'm back again.
You're at the back of the stage.
I'm back again. So how can I possibly try to project some sort of, obviously through my instrument, but through my presence or through my body language or posture, how can I try to project forward? So you have to kind of get bigger.
So, did you get any specific direction from the guys, or was there like a creative director in something like that? Or was it just who was the band leader? Like, who was the person calling the shots?
Yeah, in Savage Garden was Daniel. So guitar, keys, songwriter.
Yep.
He was the
He
band
would direct
leader,
the
MD.
band.
Yeah, he was the MD and band leader for sure.
Yeah.
And then when the band split and I continued to work with Darren, obviously Darren is that, but Darren obviously also has, a musical director and so forth who runs a band.
But that was Daniel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did he give you, so obviously he would give you direction about you guys, he would call the shots about musically what you were doing, the direction of transitions and, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Did he give you any direction about performance?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of things?
Well,
like,
I got to tread fairly carefully.
Yeah.
Not so much, really only
because to your point, it's you watch a stadium show, you watch Taylor Swift, you watch Motley Crue, and there are things that they do that when you're in the audience make perfect sense.
Yeah.
Hold the bass up really high, pretend like you're humping the guitar or like it's a gun, There's all these things Taylor Swift does.
That showmanship.
Exactly. Taylor's got these big moves, big leg moves, all these things but then when you see the footage of it, it looks really goofy. Yeah. Because you're not meant to see it up close.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
Some of them, it's like it's just too big.
Yes,
but it's for the stadium. Whereas if you're playing at a club gig, you're not really doing
I get
a bunch
exactly
of those.
What you're saying. Yeah, it's two different things. You're right. But the answer is yes. So there was direction with it, but it was really from their management, right? So from their management to us, they had American management, big company who looked after lots of, high level artists. but they gave the band direction, and the direction at that time in the Savage Garden band was if I could think of the right way to say it, and that wasn't, it was not to.
Don't overshadow the.
Thank you.
The Darren and Daniel.
That's the one.
Yes.
Yeah, and
that makes sense.
That was important in that context at that time to not overshine them, and there was really only my personality personally isn't that anyway. So it wasn't really an issue to me. Like I'm a bit more. Off the stage, or even on the stage, maybe I'm more of an introvert than an extrovert.
Yep.
So for me to play bass
and just play your bass
and play well and deliver what I'm there to deliver, which is
play the bass
part of that band and deliver what the artist needs of me. I can do that. That feels,
Darren's the performer.
Yeah, and I'm there to deliver what he needs to support him, and I fit in that very nicely. It fits my personality really well. It's probably why I've had some sort of success with that, because it's a natural fit for me. It
certainly worked for that.
Yeah, it's a natural fit for me. I can slot in there very comfortably.
Did some other guys have a hard time with it?
Yeah, well, there was somebody in the band who was a dear friend of mine.
Yeah.
Who I loved and still do. And you know who it is, I think. But big personality.
Yes.
Big personality and
big stage moves.
Big stage moves and just a great energy. He was somebody that you just could not, and you should not try to stifle or put his energy lower. He was just in love with music, in love with his instrument, in love with performing, and it just shone and it magnified thousands of % because he just shone. And he just had that in his personality. Some people have that and some people don't have that. I don't have that. I do my little niche. He had this thing that he did. It was really towards him, like, okay, no, you got to just tone this down because we've got the artists and people are here to see them. People are paying to see them. We don't want to take any focus off of them.
I wonder if that is a wise piece of direction or not. I don't know the answer. My instinct makes me think that that's actually not a good thing.
Yeah.
My instinct tells me that if the live show is exciting and some of that excitement is coming from someone other than the front man, I don't see how that's a negative. I think that is a kind of a slightly greedy, short-sighted management company self-preservation mindset. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I've never managed a band as big as Savage Garden.
Well, I mean,
but I don't know. That's what my instinct tells me.
And they gave that direction, but again, it's near impossible to change somebody's personality on their instrument. Like you are who you are. Like you find out who you are on an instrument. Like vocally as a front man, you know who you are, you know what you do, and you execute you.
It took a long time to figure it out.
Yeah, it does. It took me a long time. Yeah, it takes a long time, right? Yeah. Lots of different experiences and examples lots of mistakes and learning, rising up, working with people who are better and all this type of stuff. You one day it clicks and you work out who you are. You do you and you do you perfect. You can't be somebody else.
I get what you mean. And to try and tell to tell someone to not be that when you've worked so hard at discovering that, it's actually quite offensive.
You are who you are.
Yeah. It's quite like, don't tell me not to be me.
Yeah. So that's
awful.
Yeah. We loved him and embraced him. He's a dear friend and was my closest friend on tours. He was the best. And you can't put someone like that in a box. You can't stifle somebody's vibe.
So what happened?
Oh, it was just always a bit of a thing. There was this direction from above, but the band was the band. We were our personalities. Like the drummer, he had his personality.
Yeah.
He was a good looking dude, big arms, and he just had his
thing, his steez.
Yeah. He had that real thing. It was him. And then I had my thing. And then the other, guitar player had his thing. And then the backing singers, we have our own individual personalities and they come through. You know, even when you're performing with artists, you still come through.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You know, you're still your own brand at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, this is a very different band, but like Bon Jovi,
Yeah,
like any Bon Jovi fan knows Richie Sambora.
of course.
But it's Bon Jovi.
Yeah,
But without Richie, it's kind of like
it's not the same.
it's not the same.
Yeah.
And he carried so much weight in that band, and he was a draw,
Yeah,
which I just think is such an asset.
same.
You know?
Yeah, totally.
Like Bon Jovi's cool. He's awesome. Handsome dude. When he could sing, he could fucking sing. The songs were great.
yeah, absolutely great.
And he could have done it on his own, but why not have this awesome guitar player who
Just adds massive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it's interesting because, everyone brings their own individualness to their instrument. Like I play the bass and I bring this.
Yeah.
This is me. This is what I do.
Did he ever get fired for it?
No.
It was just
too good.
just a little bit of tension.
Yeah, a little bit, not a lot, but it was just there. It was just there.
Did Darren and Daniel have a problem with it, or was it management?
One did and one didn't.
No prizes for guessing which one.
Yeah, one did and one didn't. But you know, it wasn't enough to. You know, at the end of the day, he was just such an asset.
Yeah.
You know, so good at what he did and such a great hang. You're talking about hang before.
Yeah.
You know, this is really relevant because when you're doing that level of work, you know, we're on tour buses
99% of the time you're not on stage.
We're on planes together all the time, which we've got separate hotel rooms, but we're checking into hotels. We're getting into cars.
Yeah.
We're together. We're together a lot for years. So it really matters.
You're together. It's basically, think about it this way. You go on holiday with your partner.
Yeah.
And you spend more time with them when you're on holiday than you do when you're at home.
Yeah.
It's like that all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, with the traveling, which is fucking stressful.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Like
so
I'd have to give you, like, if you put a map of the world on this table, we'd get some pins and I'd show you where we didn't go. We travelled all over the world for years and years. I went through 3 business-size 128-page passports in 4 or 5, 6 years, 7 years or whatever it was. So we travelled a lot. And, you know, you're having breakfast together, you're having dinner together, you're always together. So the hang, like, you can't fake the hang. When you're under those circumstances, you're tired. You haven't slept. You're changing time zones.
Yep.
You're going from America to Europe and then to Asia.
You're the worst version of yourself.
Well,
that's just what happens with sleep deprivation.
You're tired, you know, like you're exhausted. And you're getting
everybody is.
Everyone. But
so if someone's a pain in the ass,
it doesn't work. And there were people that were fired. Yeah, sure there were. Yeah. But somehow,
I mean, that's a big machine at that point.
Massive.
That is huge.
Massive.
The money coming in and out of every show must have been incredible.
Sold out shows all over the world. So again, the promotional side of touring, they'd release, you know, the records and singles overseas. So from the Savage Garden first record, then the Affirmation album, then when Darren went solo, his solo records.
So what was the timeline of albums? The first album was just Savage Garden.
Yeah.
I remember getting it, loved it.
Yeah.
Killer album.
Great record still.
Yeah. Break Me, Shake Me, what a song.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Moon and Back.
Moon and Back. Dude, I play Moon and Back every acoustic gig I do. Yeah.
Truly Madly Deeply was another. That was their first number one single in America.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. So they were all on the first one.
Those songs were, yeah. And then the second album, Affirmation, which had I Knew I Loved You, which was another number one single in America, and Affirmation, the single, and Chained to You, and multiple other singles. So they had a lot of singles.
Was there anything after that?
That was it. Two records, yeah.
That's it.
Then Darren went solo after that.
Wow. Wow. The gold that was squeezed out in those 2 albums.
Magic.
It's almost as though the whatever it was between Darren and Daniel was burning so hot that it really couldn't have lasted any longer than 2 albums, because the gold that they got out of those 2 albums is like some of these songs, so many songs,
even to this day are still huge, amazing, and
beautifully
on high
songs.
rotation on radio and TV and what have you, and you listen to them, go, wow, it's timeless.
Yeah,
it's still a great sounding song or songs now.
Yes,
after all this time,
I agree.
You know, so those guys, I mean, they just had a special, obviously special chemistry and connection.
Was the songwriting just them, or was there
Just
some
them,
other?
only them.
Really?
Yeah, just the two boys.
Wow. So they didn't bring any writers in or
Never.
anything to.
Just them. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because these days that's unheard of. It's
correct.
all.
Yeah,
It's all.
it's all collabs, and there could be like 12 people on a song.
And the artists have never touched
Have
the
never
song
touched it
until they got into the recording studio.
Yeah. But so we were living together on the tours. We were together, and we'd do the promo tours and the concert tours. So we'd be in tour buses, America, Europe, Asia, all over South America, all over.
Wow.
And it was epic. Yeah, it's a dream.
So it was, okay, so you get to New York, you do these, it just blows up super quick, and you're doing the hugest shows. How long did this last? Like how long were you gone? How long were you on tour?
Till the end of 2000. So sort of 3-4 years.
Non-stop?
Little breaks.
But like what, a couple of weeks?
Yeah, max. Sometimes come home for 2 days and come home from America for 2 days and go to Europe.
Wow.
A lot, yeah. You know, we'd travel to 3 countries in a day, sometimes in Europe. Like you're doing the promo tour. So like one morning you might start, you do a TV show. It's 5 a.m. in Sweden, for example. And then you're on a Learjet, private jet to Norway to do an afternoon, midday TV show. Then you're on a jet to Munich in Germany to do an evening show, and then sleep in Germany, then up again and somewhere else. Like
mental.
That's hard. That's hard. That was grueling, and not from, I shouldn't say that from a musician perspective, but from the guys, they were doing interviews, they're doing
so
promos,
hard, dude.
they're doing photo shoots, they're doing the radio stuff,
And the pressure to maintain the same thing that everyone's expecting, the product that everyone's expecting, that the record label and the management team are expecting you to be.
Yeah. And every place everywhere you're going and everyone you're meeting, you've got to be.
It's actually no wonder that it imploded and didn't work out.
I don't know. I mean,
that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it was huge. It was massive, and you can't prepare for that. There's no manual. There's no manual. There's no guidance, really. No. I mean, it's just.
And the only people who could guide you are people who have already done it, who are like probably very jaded themselves.
I mean, you got the management team who are guiding the artists.
Yeah, but they're not doing it.
No, they're there to assist and support, but they're not doing it.
Yeah.
And then you've got the band who are just, we're just the band. We're not the artist. So
you're on the tools.
We're there.
Yeah,
but
even that.
Yeah, but we were very lucky in the sense that, I was very lucky in the sense that I played their very first show to the very last show. We had several lineup changes, and for some miraculous reason, I played the very first show to the very last show.
So you played every show?
I played every show.
Really?
And then I've kept working with Darren. So I must have done something right there. But, playing in that band, you can see when people were let go on different instruments at different times, I could sit back and look at them and see where they had gone wrong or what they were doing that was going to lead them to be relieved of their position in that band. And there were many people who were fired.
Really?
Yeah, on different instruments for different reasons. So coming in from my experience and then coming into that band at the start, and then when it blew up so quickly, I just instinctively figured out for myself, what do I need to do here to, for lack of a better word, like survive, if that makes sense, just in my own self-talk. How do I survive that grueling schedule, playing in the band with all these different personalities, and I'm living with them and we're all in close proximity? How do I survive that? Because I want to see this thing through. I love this. I want to do this. How do I make it through?
And that survive means a couple of things. It means not getting fired.
Right.
But it also means not quitting.
Yeah.
Because I bet you, like you hear this all the time about a long-term member of a big touring band is no longer in the band, and you read up about it. Why? Well, because they want to go home.
Yeah. Right.
They want to hang out with their family. They want to start a family. They're like, I don't want to be in a fucking plane anymore.
Right. Don't want to be in a metal tube in the sky.
Yeah, I'm done. It's not fun for me, and that you hear that often.
Yeah, it can get that way.
And I think that's something that a lot of people don't consider.
No, you don't know till you know.
That's it.
You know what I mean? But
so you were figuring out.
I just figured it. It was figuring. I was thinking about it and looking at myself and looking at other people, what they were doing, and what they were saying. And I just figured, this is what I figured. I don't know what point I figured it. It was early. And I just thought, there's a few things that I need to do for myself as an individual. And that is be someone who's easy to work with. That was like number one. Just be easy to work with. Don't be a pain in the backside. Don't arc up. Don't be demanding. Don't be a pain in the backside. Don't be difficult. Just be easy to work with. Be flexible. You know, be for the greater good. You know, if something needs to be done, step up and, you know, get it done for everybody for the sake of it. The other thing was to just be, and I don't want to sound wrong, but just be impeccable on it. Just be impeccable on the instrument. Like there's no room for error in that space. You can't make a wrong. You can't play a wrong note. You just can't. You can't.
Especially on the bass.
You can't.
Like you can get away with a couple on the guitar,
maybe
because it just kind of
you can sort of maybe,
but on the bass, man,
you can't. There's really no. There's a zero fail. There's a zero percentage of error.
Yeah,
really is.
Tell me this: so your formula for playing live? Were you someone who would go, right, this is what I play. This is exactly how I play this song.
Yeah,
and I never change it. Or would you have a bit of fun and play around and do some improvs and do some different stuff? Because my mentality tends to be more like, and this says a bit more about my ability, is I need to lock in my part, like, and have that cemented, and that's how I do it long before I start to try some new stuff.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Do you mean in the context of that particular band on those shows?
Yeah, that band, because it's such high stakes.
The absolute 100% answer is every single song had to be played the exact same way every single time.
So it wasn't up to you?
No.
Right.
Every single time, every instrument. And I mean every backing vocal, every guitar.
This is
drum,
your part?
Every drum, like
this is what you do.
That you do not move. You play the song as per the record, and you do not move.
Who did that direction come from?
Well, they come from the artists and the management. That was just that's what
this
we
is
do.
The standard.
People are used to. People have bought the singles. People have bought the record. They've heard the songs on the radio. They hear it this way. It is our job as hired guns or sideman musicians, whatever you want to call us, as hired musicians. It is our job to replicate and reproduce that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not our job to put our own inflections or flavor or feel. Not in that capacity. It's to play it as it was written and recorded. So that's a whole nother discipline.
Yeah,
it really is.
There's comfort in knowing exactly what it needs to be, knowing that everything around you is going, as long as everyone's doing their job, going to be exactly as you expect.
Yeah,
and I guess that's what the management and what Darren and Daniel want.
Yeah.
They don't want to have to worry about, is the drummer going to go rogue and bust out some weird fill here?
Yeah.
Or,
No, it's just we're delivering those songs.
Interesting. Yeah.
The way they were recorded and the way the artists wants it to be delivered. So there's certainly a discipline there. To do the same every time. Like, and you can, you do that. It was just part of the responsibility. Yeah. But
did you guys use much tracks?
Lots.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, lots. Yeah.
There's a lot of production.
Yeah, lots. Huge amount of production.
So what was the touring band?
Instrumentation-wise, do you mean? So there was drums, bass, guitar, and backing vocals, 2 backing vocals, then Darren and Daniel.
And so what would Daniel do? Daniel did keys?
Yeah, and guitar.
Okay, so he just bounce around.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And Darren didn't play anything, did he?
Just lead vocal.
Yeah. Yeah, right. And then some tracks, whatever else was needed for the song.
On track, which is common.
Was there another keyboard player?
Only one. One keys.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So just, obviously tracks, which is commonplace. Yeah. Especially in that genre. Which is normal, and in-ear monitors with click tracks and cues and all sorts of stuff going on. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It was a show.
Oh, it's a show. It's a show from
start to finish.
And we just toured last year with Darren with his 25-year anniversary tour of that first release of the Savage Garden record, and Australia and UK. all the arenas here in Australia and nice venues over in the UK, sold out venues. And the same setup. It's
squeaky clean.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's squeaky. It's note for note. It's polished. It's rehearsed. We had 10 days of rehearsals, 12, 14-hour days, 10 days straight of rehearsals for that show. Lots of tracks. A Pro Tools guy. So a guy off stage with the laptops running Pro Tools.
Okay.
So you got, on stage with drums, bass.
So the sounds that, so that's like true replication of the sounds that you're hearing on the record, on the recording, is the sounds that you're hearing at the gig.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not someone trying to reproduce it on one keyboard or whatever.
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah. It is a different beast. In a band that I was in a few years ago, we ran a bunch of tracks. And it's, it sounds huge. I personally think that I enjoy the performing aspect of being completely live.
Yeah.
Just because like what we do in Filthies.
Yeah.
Everything that we're doing is organic.
Yeah.
And there's something kind of like there's pressure about that because like this could fall off the rails at any moment here, But then again, it's also really hard to play to tracks because there's clicks and everything. And if you are off that, it sticks out, man, especially the drummer. Like if the drummer misses a click and the track's going, it's like, oh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you have any train wreck situations?
No, you can't.
Too good.
You can't. That's the thing. There's zero fail.
I know you can't, but sometimes they fucking happen and it's like, oh God.
No, we didn't. Luckily, everyone's, It's to your point, like it really, like I enjoy all those different scenarios. I like all those different disciplines. I like, playing with an artist like Darren, for example, where it's click tracks, it's cues in the ears, it's a Pro Tools engineer off stage, it's a full production show from start to finish. I love that.
Well, it just is so big. It would just sound so huge. Pristine.
Yeah, you learn the show. You're not learning songs. You learn a show. So the show was 2 hours. You're learning the show. So that's the transitions between songs. That's how long we're pausing between here and here. The cues are in the ears. Okay, stop here. Bass comes in now. 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
Everyone had individual cues in their in-ear monitors.
Yes.
I had the MD set up cues for me.
Yep. So you had a count in for the count in,
for
all that kind of
things
stuff
that I needed. Like if it was odd timing, okay, Lee, you're going to come in ready now. 1, 2, 3, go.
Oh, they were in your ear.
Yeah.
So like almost like a conductor
on Pro Tools. Yeah, you can have all of that.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
Yeah, isn't that just a completely different thing?
You almost get talked through the whole thing.
Yes. Emotional support the whole.
Well, yeah,
Lee,
sometimes
you're doing really great. Your pocket's so good tonight, mate.
I should have heard him said that.
Oh, that tone is fantastic. Coming in 3, 2.
Would you like a tummy rub?
Yeah, just a little bit of like emotional massaging mid-set.
That would have gone a long way.
Yeah, it would have been great.
But then you got like what we do with the Filthies. Yeah, it's just, man, pure organic.
It's filthy.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
It's dirty. It's grubby.
Well, there's warts.
It's rock.
Yeah.
It's messy.
Yeah. Oh, we've messed up the ending. We're still going, are we?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get.
Love it. Love it.
It's just how do we? One of the funnest things is how do we fix this mess? Because the guys are good enough to be able to fix a mess that majority of the time no one even knows.
Right.
And that's cool when you go, they got no idea that where the train was well and truly off the tracks then for a couple of bars. And then we can
just look at each other and just it could just be the most slightest head adjustment or look and we'll all just do that and we know what we need to do or where we need to go or how do we dig ourselves out of this. Okay, this.
Oh, you're ending the solo now? Okay, quick. Yeah, we're going into.
So that's another fun discipline. So there's lots of like I'm lucky to play with pop music and rock music and country music. I play with country artists and all of the disciplines are different. And it just makes you. I love it all because I love that stuff. Yeah. I love music is what I do. So I've learnt all of the. I suppose the skills of the different disciplines, I suppose, and you sort of know what you need to bring or what's required of it.
I think that's something that's hence why you've been a successful musician as a bass player. Something that's important as a bass player is the nature of the job, the nature of the instrument is a exceptionally important supportive instrument. It's a rhythm instrument.
And melodic at the same time.
Yeah.
It's rhythmic and melodic.
Yeah. And there's not a lot of bass players who are songwriters. So it's not like maybe in some funk music, because it's very bass driven, but in general, the role of the bass player, like how many bass players are in just one band?
I don't know. Not wouldn't be many.
Nah.
Yeah.
Because if especially if you're going to be a professional,
Yeah.
you got to wear as many hats as you can.
Yeah, you do. You do.
And you
Yeah.
play a bunch of different genres and you slot in and you do your job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's one of those jobs where it's like there's out of all the instruments in a band, I think there's the least glory for the most pressure for a bass player. Because
you're probably right.
Well, as I was saying before, like
right
you can, as a guitar player, you got so much leeway to make mistakes.
Yeah. The bass has to be solid.
If the bass player, if you hit a wrong note, everyone's like, "Oh, what's happened?"
Well, I mean, there's certain responsibilities of that instrument, I guess, and
huge.
Like you tap on there, right? So it's a rhythmic instrument, it's a melodic instrument too. So I need to lock in with the drummer, and in our case, in Filthy's Kerry, I mean, he's a monster, right? So it's so easy to lock as a rhythm section, right? So we lock. But it's also my job to play the melodic lines underneath your vocal melodies, for example. So I need to find my spaces in that.
You're the support of the chords too.
And then support the chords. And a bass player can change the whole chord if he wants to.
Yes, a guitarist can't.
I can. Yeah. I can just move a note and I can change the entire chord.
Yes.
I do it sometimes. I do, in our space, where we've got a bit of that freedom, I'll move around a little bit, not too much because we want to keep the song as organic as we can.
But that's a lot of power and responsibility.
Yeah, you can wield the sword.
You can, yeah. Yeah, like if you as the bass player stay in the one place, it has more of an impact than the other instruments that are above it. It's just the nature of bass frequencies.
Dynamic of
as you said, the chord changes.
Yeah,
the chord literally is based on what the root note is.
Yeah,
which is
that to a different interval, and there you have it. There you go, guys.
Yeah,
work that out. You can't now. I've moved again. See ya.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But then to sing, do a bit of backing vocals. So that's a whole other thing. It's like pat the head, rub the tummy. Yeah. So you get a whole nother rhythmic and melodic and harmony going vocally plus the rhythmic and melodic here.
Yep.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah, man.
It's fun. I enjoy the challenge.
Yeah.
I love it.
You do it well.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm still trying.
I'm
still learning. I'm still I want to say I'm still improving at my age after all this time. I'm still, like, for example, we had a rehearsal, Filthy's, I don't know, however, a year ago, whatever it was, for a show coming up. And I walk into the rehearsal studio and there's a mic stand and a mic set up for me in front of my bass amp. And I'm like, I guess I'm singing backing vocals now. And Kerry's like, yeah, you are.
Was that never in the job description?
Wasn't at the start. And I knew I could do it, right? I mean, something
so
I
have you not done it?
Well, I have, but I've just dabbled, and it was sort of not something that I've loved previously.
Sure.
I can do it. I know I can, but I've not done a lot of it.
So no BVs in Savage Garden?
No, none of us did. Just the backing vocalists.
Okay.
So no band members sang. So in all those years, I never had to. So it wasn't a requirement. And then I get to rehearsal and it's like, you're singing. And I suppose if Kerry tells you you're singing, right? It's
like if there's a mic stuck in front of you, you're kind of like, I guess I'm using this thing.
So I did. And that was the best thing that he could have done. Like I'm enjoying it heaps. I do it all the time. So that's good. I mean, like just saying, if I can find ways to improve and push myself now, and then also like playing with different artists and playing in different genres that I do now. So not just pop, not just rock, bit of country music, bit of this, bit of that.
Yeah.
Playing bass, singing, backing vocals. Like it's just cool. It sort of just broadens the spectrum for you with your skill sets. I found.
Absolutely.
So I'm liking that. So that's how I've been improving as time's gone on, because I had that foundation where I could play the instrument. I had a good ear. So I know what's going on musically. I know what to do. I can lock in with a drummer. I know how to do that. But now I've got all these other skills that I'm just adding as the time goes on. That just makes you a better musician. And musician, not bass player. So have the bass player hat on, but put a musician hat on.
Yes.
It's another.
Makes you much more valuable asset.
Well, I think
to
so.
a
And
band.
again, like what I mentioned before, is like, what can I bring? What skill sets can I contribute here?
Yeah.
I think that's the approach I've always taken. Like, what can I bring to this? It's not a selfish thing. Oh, I'm going to get this gig and I'm going to get chicks or whatever, and I'm going to get some money. Like, no, it's what can I actually bring to this?
Well, it's a team sport, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there are always folks who don't get that.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that doesn't work.
Yeah,
really.
I think so.
Sooner or later.
It sort of flushes out, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it does. It just does.
It just does.
It's okay. So the Savage Garden journey. How long did that last?
Well, our last show was I think it was December. It was December 2000, and in Cape Town in South Africa was the last show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember.
So you guys are just, with like 2 weeks break, random little breaks. Yeah, but it was just go. Breaks. Yeah, and then stop.
Yeah, that was it. Finished.
Wow.
We flew home. Had no idea what I was going to do.
Oh wow.
No idea.
It ended as quicker than it began.
Abrupt.
Really?
It was all over.
Did you? No, I know you say as much as you're comfortable saying. I know you still work with Darren.
Mm-hmm. I do. Yeah.
But how much of this did you see coming?
Well, we knew that we knew. Yeah. We knew that it was the tour was finishing.
Yeah.
And we knew there wouldn't be any more.
Okay.
We did know that for a while.
Yep.
Obviously wasn't public knowledge at the time, but we knew, and it was under, strict confidentiality and so forth.
Could you see it before you officially knew within the band? Like, was there a conversation from management like, hey guys, this is done? And then you're like, oh shit. Or were you like, things are not going well at the top? I think.
Really. Like, I mean, we, as far as the musicians, us as the band, we were kind of, as the band got bigger and bigger and bigger, we kind of, in a way, were more removed.
Sure.
If that makes sense. Like, it just, I think just
how you turned up and did your job.
Yeah, it's just kind
like
of how
the road
it happened.
crew almost.
Yeah, almost. Like, at the start, we were fairly like sort of together in terms of the artists and us as the band. We're very close proximity and communication, direct. But then as it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and the number one singles in America and the big schedules and the international concert touring and all that,
just grew,
it grows and it became a big organization with a lot of employees.
Yeah, right.
And we were actually employees for a long time. We weren't contractors. We were on payroll, which is unheard of now almost. I don't even know if that exists anymore.
Wow.
So there were a lot of employees, road crew, like AV, like sound, lighting,
stage
musicians.
manager.
Costumes, like personal trainers, dietitians.
It's a show. It's like a theatre show.
Yeah. Like that's a big personnel. It might be 50 or 60 people on payroll on a concert tour, maybe more. Like, it's huge. There's like 4 or 5 or 6, whatever, semi-trailers of equipment driving from one venue to the next, to the next, to the next. It's a huge.
And the brutal reality of it is the only people in that entire employee list that are not replaceable is Darren and Daniel.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Everyone else can be swapped out at the drop of a hat.
Sometimes were.
And sometimes were, yeah.
And sometimes were.
Yeah, well, as you were saying before, you had to navigate, how do I make that not be me?
Right, you got to work that out.
I need to observe the universe that I live in.
Yeah, yeah. And it was an ever-changing, fluid thing as it got bigger. And wow. Yeah, it was big. It was huge. And so the band finished basically, and, we got home.
So what were you told about the band finishing?
Well, we were told, we weren't really told too much about it, to be honest. We got home and we just knew that was it. And we didn't know anymore. That was if anything, or if nothing, or what.
So the guys, there was no official statement from the guys to you guys like, hey man, sorry,
we just
done.
knew that the concert tour had finished, and we just knew that what we understood, that there wasn't going to be any more. And we knew that. So I got home and I had no idea who I even was anymore, because it might sound strange, but for so many years of doing that work, it became, and being a bass player is my identity as a person, but I think my identity became being a bass player in the Savage Garden band.
Of course.
Because I was so
young. You never home?
Yeah, I was so young.
Yep.
Was never home. Played in the band for years. I was an employee of one of the biggest bands.
That was home.
Yeah, that was home.
It was moving around the world.
Right.
And then it's gone.
And then gone.
Where do you live now? I don't know.
I don't know who I am.
Whoa, dude.
Don't even know who I am anymore. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
So it was a long
Were you
time.
single?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So you're not attached. No one to come home to.
Yeah, it was a difficult time.
Family, obviously, but like.
Yeah. But luckily, Darren was straight in the studio and recorded his first solo album. It was called Spin. It's a great record. There was a series of singles off that album.
Were you involved in that?
On the concert touring side, yeah, and the promo touring side, yeah. So I think we went out in maybe 2001. We started working on the promo and concert touring of that record for about 18 months.
Yeah, right.
And again, that was another of that similar
kind of setup.
Same setup with the the promotional touring, then the concert touring schedules. So that was amazing. And what was cool about, let me tell you what was cool about that was Darren wanted, he wanted an American band because he was living in America and he wanted American musicians. And he, like me, he loves a lot of R&B. He loves like Michael Jackson. He loves Janet Jackson or Madonna, or he loves those artists like similar to Prince. We love that stuff. And he wanted a African American band.
Oh yeah, right. He wanted that black guy groove.
These guys are the best.
Yeah,
right. Because they come up as kids in the church and the gospel, right? And these guys are just, man, there's something else again.
Yeah.
Okay,
I kind of think there's an innate feel and groove that black folks have.
Yeah.
Some don't.
Yeah.
But there's something in there that you can kind of almost listen to it and go, I bet you that drummer's black.
Oh,
you can so there's something in there, and like the vocal styles too. Yeah. There's I don't know if it's an anatomical thing or a biological thing, but it's like there's a magic in
their
there.
DNA. Like these guys are monster players.
There's the Islander groove too.
Yeah, 100%.
You can feel it,
especially vocally. The voices are just like silk.
Yeah,
and the harmonies are just on point.
Yeah,
they just have a natural ability.
Yeah, us white folks have been trying to emulate that.
We try. We work at it for years, and they just have it.
Yeah,
so they just have to sort of, well, generally speaking,
of course,
they just have to, they work on it, but we have to develop it. Anyway, so we went to Darren flew me to Los Angeles, and we started auditioning musicians.
So he kept you.
Yeah, I stayed on. I've stayed on with him the whole time. Yeah. I'm lucky. I don't know how. Touch wood, but
great. I mean, did you try and do an American accent or anything? Or
no, I can't do it. Terrible. Anyway, so we flew over and, he flew me because he wanted me there just to, we were auditioning drummers and keyboard players and guitarists and percussionists. He wanted a big band, backing singers, and we got some amazingly incredible musicians through the auditions. People that had played with huge named artists. Like it was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm in the same room with these people, let alone on a stage with them.
Session lords.
Yeah, and touring lords.
Yeah.
And, Darren was there with his management team, in the seats, and I would be on stage with the band, and we would run auditions.
Wow, so this is really interesting that you were now like, oh, I'm safe, and I get to see this from the other perspective.
A little bit.
See all the people come through.
A little bit, yeah. It was really interesting, and Darren selected the specific musicians he wanted on the instruments that he wanted. And for me, that was another, like we were talking about before. I'm just a guy from, I grew up in Ipswich, but a guy from Brisbane, Australia. And next minute I'm in Los Angeles with
auditioning the best touring musicians in the world.
Some of the best that had played with Mariah Carey, played with Coolio, had played with who, you can rattle off names. And these guys were seasoned guys from Los Angeles, some of the best session musicians in that city, in that town. And here I am.
What a trip.
Here I am. And I was like, here. And they're like, here. And
Don't let them know that.
Well, you kind of got to have a game face, but I worked out real quick. I thought, oh man, I'm going to need to level up here.
Yeah, right.
These guys are huge. I need to level up.
Isn't that interesting, that moment where you go, your ego gets a real check.
Yeah.
Where you're like,
I saw it.
You're like, I can't tell anyone this.
No.
But these guys are way better than me.
Yeah.
and you go like, what are my options? Sink or swim. I either got to get better,
Get up,
or I'm out because I can't. Yeah, the ego wants
you
to
can't
go.
fake that.
Yeah, the ego wants to go. No, you're fine. You're awesome.
Nah.
There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing that you could improve on.
Yeah.
You're perfect.
You're here. You're safe.
Yeah,
you've been with the artist for
you're
years.
so good. You're perfect.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There are no flaws in your game at all. But the reality, you're like I joined this band, and the previous singer, this was this band Shotgun Alley I was in, it was like cock rock.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Previous singer had his voice was like a Michael Jackson, Bruno Mars place where it sat. So it was just naturally higher, so much higher than mine. And I'd never been able to sing that high, and I loved that band. And they asked me to join because it didn't work out with him, and I was like, yes. Kind of like what you was like, I'll figure out the rest later. Then I realized I got to figure out how to sing high. I have to do it because I can't. And I have to swallow my pride and actually do some work on my voice and understand how to unlock some vocal range.
Yeah,
and I did it, and I'm so proud of myself for doing it. It worked out really well, but there was a lot of fucking work that I needed to do.
Yeah.
And it's that moment of, these guys are way better than me. I got to get better. It's an interesting moment.
It
and
was.
the stakes for you in that position.
Yeah. It's make or break for me.
Yeah, dude.
And you know, even though we had a long-standing relationship at that time, you know, you can't rely on just on that. Like you have to deliver.
Yeah, well, if you stop delivering, he's going to keep you in the band because he likes you.
No, it doesn't work that way.
He's still going to like you as a person, but you're not in the band.
Correct. It doesn't work that way.
Nah.
So I
mean, Savage Garden split up.
Yeah.
So like,
exactly right.
Get rid of the bass player.
Right? So,
yeah.
But I worked that out. It was early on. I was like, ding, light bulb. Okay. I've sort of had an ability, I think, maybe throughout my career, as early as when I can remember, that I can kind of see. I can step back and see, okay, this is what I kind of need to, this is what's going on. This is the lay of the land. This is kind of what I need to do here.
I think it's an emotional intelligence.
Maybe I don't have it in a lot of other areas, but I do. I seem to with this. I seem to just have a bit of a knowing about it. I could just
get an understanding of what,
see and go, okay,
what's going on.
I got this. And I just realized, okay, these guys are monsters and I am not on their level, but I'm going to get there, and I'm going to get there really, really fast.
I bet Darren knew that
I
about
reckon
you.
He knew that for sure.
I reckon he was probably like...
He would know that.
Yeah, because he's auditioning these motherfuckers, you know, these people who...
He would know
and
that.
so he would know how good they are. That's why he's auditioning them. Yeah. And he probably knew that he could rely on you to be like, nah, Lee will pull his weight.
Maybe.
He'll get there. Maybe. That's why I brought him. Well, he wouldn't have brought you.
But he would know that because, like, in all honesty, he is the smartest person I've ever met in my life, but not just intellect, like, I mean, emotional. His intelligence. He's the smartest person and the most generous, kind-hearted person I've ever met. So he would know just instinctively.
Yes.
But he gave me a chance, probably knowing that, hey, yep, I'll step up to that. And I did. It didn't take too long, but we started doing the promo stuff, like promo touring, in support of the singles that were coming out. We had like amazing keys. The young drummer was 21 years old and he'd just come off touring with Mariah Carey, and he was, man, the best. He was the best.
Yeah.
But what was so great about that tour, especially when we got to the concert touring side of things, there was a musical director, still a great friend of mine, who went on to MD the American Idol series for years. He's a monster. They all were. But Darren really gave him, and therefore us as the band, real license, actually.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It was a flip.
So it was different.
Yeah.
Interesting. A more organic live performance.
Yeah, still tracks. It was still a show, but we were able to really express ourselves on our instruments and not so much ad lib, but like the musical director, the arrangements he made on the songs were just like, boom, man, mind blowing, like for live, and how we transitioned from one song to the next, and
more of a journey.
Different arrangements.
Yeah, cool.
Like he changed, like these guys.
That's exciting.
They can play different chord inversions underneath stuff, and you just go, what?
Yeah,
it's that gospel.
Yeah.
Thing that they just have that instinct.
Yes.
And he just brought that in, and we just did that. And the drama was it was almost like it was almost like the concert touring shows were the drummer. There's a video. It's called Too Close for Comfort. There's a DVD of the European concert tour from 2002, I think it was. And it's a kind of a doco where there's like each song of that show is peppered in through interviews with Darren. It's a really, really cool video. But yeah, if you listened to the audio, obviously watched the show, the songs, man, the band was like something else.
Heavily featured.
Interesting. Yeah, and he allowed that. He allowed everybody to really express and allow everyone to push themselves to the limit musically. Whereas previously, we were kept in this very tight, narrow, this is what you do.
Yes.
You do not move. You do not stray. You stay here.
Yep.
We don't want a note different. We don't want to slide into a note. If there's no slide on it, you don't do it.
Well,
if there's no passing note, you don't play one.
Exactly how it goes.
It is what it is, and you do that. So it was very narrow in terms of,
Yep.
That. But total flip. It was like it was basically free. So it was so liberating. And because of especially the musical director, his musical ability, it just pushed everybody. And then I just was able, under his, I suppose, musical guidance and direction, was able to lift. And then if I listen back to stuff that I played back then, I was like, oh man, I can hear the huge difference between me in that band and me in that band.
Yeah. Well,
that's two different. That's two different guys.
Well, because once you've locked it in, there's really nothing else that you can do.
You're just doing that task or that role, which is amazing, but you're doing that.
Yeah. There's nothing else though.
There's nothing else.
Like you can't, once you've got it, you've got it. That's it.
Yeah. Just execute it.
Yeah.
Flawlessly and what have you.
And I get it, because then it's squeaky clean.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not going to change.
That's right.
If you're capable of reproducing that every night, which you are, that's what you're going to get.
That's what you're doing.
So I get it. But from this side of things, there's more risk because you might try something.
Yeah.
And granted, you're an excellent musician. You're not going to do a complete flub, but there is risk in the sense that each of you guys trying something different may not land as nicely as it did the night before.
Yeah.
If you tried something different but it's exciting. As a listener, and this is, again, my personal opinion as a musician, I feel like that's exciting to be able to go, oh, what's this little tasty thing they've given us?
Oh, the guys do that in a bit. Oh man, and we do it like I remember there was we played another performance at Party in the Park for the Prince's Trust, Hyde Park in London, 100,000 people, and we play an arrangement of some of Darren's solo songs and Savage Garden songs, and the arrangement that the MD had come up with, and it was just like almost like a gospel arrangement of these songs. Cool. It was like just really, really beautiful, and it was just total freedom.
Yeah, right.
Do what you want to do in there. And Darren just let it do that.
How fun.
It was really, really great.
Yeah.
But as a musician, it was just a whole, like for me, like big growth. Because it was like either when I worked out, okay, you got a choice here. These guys are going to chew you up and spit you out for breakfast, man. Or you step up.
Yep.
And you get on their level and you do it fast. And I went, well, there is no option.
Yeah.
I just have to do that one.
Yeah, well,
I have to do that one.
It's almost like one thing that I can observe it would have taught you is in the original way where you just play your part, you don't even have to pay attention to anyone else. Really. You got to listen to the drums.
Yeah, you're locking in.
You lock in, but you don't have to look at anyone to know when the ending's coming. Everyone knows where it's all like that. You don't even have to really play. You don't have to bounce off each other because everyone's just doing their job. Whereas in Darren's version, you are on a journey together. Yeah. And you're like, what are we doing? Oh, we're cool. Let's go here. Cool. We're doing that.
So great.
And then you got to, okay, something new's happened over here. You guys are, there's a symbiosis that's happening that wasn't really happening so much.
Yeah.
So I can totally see how stimulating it would have been. Exciting.
It was so great. Yeah, it was such a great tour.
And at that level with those guys?
Oh, it was such a great tour. And they're great musicians and still friends now. It's, they're just, it was mind-blowing. And just to get the opportunity to play with musicians like that.
Yeah.
Like, where are you going to get that? You can't get that.
Nah.
You can't get that.
So how long did that last?
Oh, that was about the tour. I think all up was almost 2 years.
Wow, man.
18 months, something like that.
These are brutal schedules. And how many shows a week are you doing?
Oh, lots. No, you might do, for example, 3 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off, something like that, or 3 in a row, then a day, then 2 in a row, then a day. That's a usual schedule. It's probably not more than that.
This is me asking as a singer, how's Darren's voice? How did it hold up? Did he ever have any troubles? Was he? Because I know you were talking about Toby and his issues. That
was an interesting podcast and stuff you did with Toby.
I was fast. Every singer's paranoid about that exact thing happening.
For sure. This is your instrument.
Yeah.
I've got these hands, but you have this, and this is your health.
Yeah, so many things affect it. You can be hungover, sick as a dog, and you can play the bass. You may not play it as well as you can, but you can do it.
Yeah, but if you're under the weather or sick or what have you, tired even, you range.
Eat something spicy. And
totally.
It turns to shit sometimes.
Your chat with Toby was, I listened to that and it was just really interesting. I enjoyed that chat. But Darren takes extraordinary care of his voice. This is his instrument. And he has a regime of vocal health and vocal care that he follows religiously.
So that he can do 9 shows a day.
Imagine having to cancel.
Yeah.
Imagine having to cancel.
Yeah, it's 40,000 people. Yeah. And there's a management company and record label
and all that, all that machine.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you what he does, but there's a whole regime of it's
a huge amount of pressure.
People don't understand. Yeah, people don't know that. You don't know what you don't know. But even for yourself, I know you were under the weather last week,
I had to bail on a gig last week from having the flu and I wasn't even that sick. I was pretty much better, but I just couldn't stop coughing.
Yeah.
Every time I'd go to do a breath, I'd cough and my voice was all just cooked from coughing so much. It still kind of is. It's almost back, but I had to, gone.
Yeah.
And that was a gig for 200 people.
Yeah. And what are you going to do?
Yeah.
If it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing. If I go out there and I try and sing on it and I've got a gig the next night in front of 40,000 people and the next night, then it's only going to get worse.
You're going to damage yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
lot of pressure.
I think it's the most pressure of the whole thing, isn't it? Like the vocal health of the singer.
Yeah.
It's everything. If that person is not well, everything else stops.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. It doesn't, honestly, man, I don't know what the ins and outs of what happened with Darren and Daniel are, and of course we don't need to get into it, but I get it. It's that amount of pressure is really challenging to navigate, and the size of the shows you guys were doing, the volume of the shows you were doing, the touring schedule that you guys were on, the lack of sleep, I have 2-3 nights bad sleep in a row because our little girl's not sleeping so well.
Yeah.
And me and my wife are just like shitty versions of ourselves, just trying to be parents,
Yeah.
So I get it. It's so challenging. And then you hear that things kind of didn't work out between the two of them. But that's basically what happened, right?
Yeah,
they just couldn't work together anymore and they just wanted to not be in a band.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they just, one person wanted to go this way, one person wanted to go that way at the end of the day for their different reasons.
Yeah. It happens.
It happens. It happens. Yeah. It was a real shame. Like I said, when I got home, for me personally, I just had no idea what I was going to do, who I was. For a long time, it was very difficult. And it was just me as a bass player in the band, and it affected me that way.
Yeah.
But it took a long time to sort of work out, what am I doing here? What do I want to do? Who do I want to become? Who do I want to be? So, music's always, playing the bass and playing music, playing with people has always been the thing that's brought me back to who I am. So it's
it's got to be that, but in what capacity?
Yeah. Yeah. What do you want to do with your career?
It's got to be a weird journey, to be involved in a project that is so massive, so quickly, and kind of what we were talking about before, bam, it's just it explodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're riding that wave, trying to be as conscious as you can as a 20-year-old playing in front of 100,000 people, you know, touring the world, just non-stop, and then the bus stops, time to hop off.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, okay, so you went back on tour with Darren, and you've done that a bunch. But for this thing to be so enormous.
It was huge, yeah.
And then you go, coming back to, like, what a journey.
Yeah, it was massive.
And like okay, now in your later 40s as a musician, what are you doing? Where, like it's just such a fascinating thing to be a part of and to be like, oh fuck, I was doing that.
Yeah.
What a ride, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I sometimes, like, just on YouTube or whatever, like some things will come up, like performances. Yeah. You know, when I was that age, I'm like, oh man, that is just good on you, man.
Yeah.
Like, just thank myself. Like, for
look at 22-year-old me out
doing
there.
The things I was doing. Like, it's cool. But, you know, as I've gotten older and with it more experience, I've worked out, you know, like when if it's one show with an artist or if it's a concert tour with an artist, whatever it is, I know now, and it took me a long time to work out how to handle that when it finishes. When it finishes, it's finished. Like, example, we came off Darren's tour last year. So we finished in the UK. I get on the plane, I go home, it's finished. You don't think about I don't think about it anymore. It's finished. And that's just and that's not bad. That's how you have to deal with it. It's finished.
Because tell me if you've experienced the same. I would go through, and I still do slightly, a period of mourning.
Yeah.
Because like, so I did a musical a couple of years ago. I did Chess, and we toured Australia, and there was a whole crew of people, and you get really close because you're putting on a show that is high stakes. If you go out there and you mess up your lines, there's all these people there. You can't mess it up. You can't do another take. You know, there's the whole show has to run smoothly. There's a lot of pressure on everyone, and you grow close because of that. Yeah. And then the tour ends and that experience is finished. And not only, it's kind of, I would always find it to be really depressing because it's like, okay, that's done. I don't get to do that anymore. Yeah. And even if I wanted to go back to where we were doing it, no one else is there.
Right.
It's not like I've left. Myself. It's gone. Yeah.
It's the time's finished.
And coming to terms of that, like the post-show blues, I would always get it, and I've gotten better at navigating it. But
it's there
at that scale, that existential crisis of like,
no, you still think, you know, no, it takes a few weeks. You know, it does take a few weeks to sort of come down. Yeah, but just now to realize, okay, well, we did that, and that's there. That's over in that compartment. Now we're on to the next. Yep. What's the next? And just keep moving, just keep moving, and not keep looking. I did that. Yeah. And just appreciate it when you're there. And then when it's finished, move on. So it took a long time. I wish I'd known that when I was younger, but it just comes with experience. You just got to learn these things as you go. Yeah. Because I'm sure that someone did and could have told you that. Yeah, and it just wouldn't have hit anyway, you know? Exactly. Like you got to just go through that stuff. Yeah. And it's just part of being a touring musician. There's so much that you learn, and that whole journey is just cool, and it's just brought me here. And you know, I can jump on and do lots of different musical things with different people and fit straight back out. Yeah, can fit in, but I can come out and I go to the next, and I
put
can
the
come
next
out.
hat on. Yeah, man.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, you know, I say the you know, I'm a sideman. That's what I do. I'm a hired gun, so to speak, or a sideman musician.
I think that's
the thing.
That's why you've been successful at it, because you know your place.
That's the thing.
You know what your role is.
Yeah, and I always wanted to be that. Yeah. I always wanted to be that. I didn't have aspiration to be the artist or anything like that. I just wanted to be a sideman musician. You know, when I was a kid watching those music award shows, you know, standing behind whatever artist it was. I knew I was going to do that. That's what I wanted to be.
Yeah. Your vision of yourself aligned with what you wanted to do, aligned with the places that you were putting yourself in, rather than someone who finds themselves in a position but they think they actually should be something different. Right. And there's this kind of clash
tension or something like that.
Within themselves.
Yeah.
But knowing, no, this is what I am.
Yeah, this is what I want. This is exactly what I dreamt of doing. Yeah. So I'm still doing it. I'll just keep doing it.
Living the dream, man.
I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Get get to work with cool people. You know, we're doing cool stuff, man.
It's so fun. It's just so fun. Like I have these moments now where I make an effort to consciously observe the moment.
So yeah,
every gig,
right?
I've made it a habit to go, be present, come back to this moment right now, and it's. I mean, you can't really. You do it for free. You would. Like, it's so fun. Obviously, you've got to pay the bills, and this is how we pay the bills.
Yeah.
But when you're up there and you're doing it, you're like, this is so fun.
Yeah.
This is just, look at the people having a good time, people being free, people enjoying their life. We're facilitating that.
For sure. Like, if we're on stage for an hour, doing an hour set or something like that, I mean, I'm just, nothing else matters at that time. I'm just in that, every single note that I'm playing, I'm in every one of them. Yeah. Conscious.
It is a deeply...
I'm right there.
It's a meditative place, isn't it?
Yeah. You get to go within.
Yeah.
But connect.
Yeah.
With everyone on stage. On a musical, you know, just that energy. And then obviously with the crowd, you know, like you want to, you know, that energy that you've got together in the band just magnifies out to, like, if you are connecting, which we do, like we got a great band, like it's a lot of fun, and there's a great chemistry, and you can't fake the chemistry. If you've got chemistry, you don't have it, and every individual musician in that band is exceptionally good at what they do, and then you bring them all together, and it's like this melting pot concoction of all these personalities, man, and all this vibe, and then you get up front, and then you
do my thing.
You're up front, man, doing the thing, and we're behind you, like just pushing it along, you know, and it's just it's fun. It is.
It's there is some woo-woo hippie shit when it comes to music, that there's something about music and vibration that is magical. Yes, it just connect. You know, I use magic as a word because it's a word that we use for something that we can't really explain. Yeah. But there's no one that doesn't like any music. There's never a person. There's no people like, I don't like music. Yeah. None. Yeah. There's no music that I enjoy.
There shouldn't be.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you're not a person if that's how you feel.
Well, you don't have a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And I kind of think, I don't know, I had this realization recently. I'm like, why do I love it? Why do I love music so much? Why is it so important to me? It's my life, man. Why is it so important to me?
I've thought that too.
And then I realized, I'm like, you might think I'm cuckoo, but I thought...
I already think you're cuckoo.
Well, okay. Well,
yeah, that's why we're friends.
Right, okay. So the rhythm of music, like all music has rhythm, whether there's drums or percussion or not even. There's a flow and a tempo and a rhythm. And we have a heartbeat, our heart's beating in our chest as long as we're alive. The heart's beating, dum, 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 whatever the beat is, or tempo, depending on if you're walking up a hill or you're sitting still, there's a tempo and it fluctuates. And I figured, well, that's got to be what it is. The beat and the rhythm and the tempo of music aligns to the beat and rhythm and tempo going on in my body.
Dude, you're dead on, I reckon.
That's the connection.
There's a bit of a science that some DJs have tried to tap into with tempos.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And there are some DJs, I think if they're smart, they read. That is why there is a certain way that certain tempos of dance music especially make you feel. So, for instance, 120, songs at 120 BPM, that is an elevated heart rate BPM. Right. Now 130, 140, this is, you're working out now. And above that, you're exhausting yourself. You know, if you're up around 160, 170, you're having a
100 meters or something.
Yeah, you're having a hard workout. You're like, you can't talk. But 120 is you're
like
active
an excitement.
And you're excited.
Sort of elevated.
There is a reason why a lot of
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That is the reason why a lot of like dance music is around 120, 130. because it's a
That makes total sense.
especially if you're fit, if you're obese, then you're probably going to be pumping higher than that. But it makes us feel the way we feel when we're energized and
it's
excited.
got to be the connection.
Yeah, and I think there's also a reason why tribal music is just groove. They didn't have melodic instruments. No, it was just banging on a skin, banging some sticks together and just grooving together and people dancing to the rhythm.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when this was a very recent thing. I just thought that. What is
there's a connection.
What is this thing for me? Because it's deep.
It is.
What is this deep connection for me? Because I can't live without it. It's not a drug. It's not that, but maybe it is. I don't know. I can't live without it.
It's very powerful, though.
I'll do it till this isn't beating anymore.
Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine not playing music. Yeah.
Yeah, I echo that.
It's a
sentiment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
People might think we're
but even people who aren't musicians, I think they get it too.
Do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think they do. They may not consciously get it,
right?
But there are pieces of music or even just grooves that make people feel something. And,
for sure.
And that changes for individuals.
Right.
Some people are into death metal. Some people are into just gospel groove,
Yeah.
But there's
something that connects with
and it'll make you tap your foot or bang your head.
Yeah.
It's
got to be a thing.
It's powerful.
There's probably some study out there or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm late to the party on this.
We could get the tinfoil hat right, but there are theories on how we built the pyramids, and the keys to time travel and space travel lies in vibration.
Right.
There are these theories that in order to move, like if you get the algorithm right or whatever the fuck, you can lift objects using vibration.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And you can like transcend time and space using vibration.
Yeah,
like the key to the universe is vibration.
Right.
There are these out there theories, and look, man, I kind of reckon that there might be a lot more in that than we believe.
I don't know, like sometimes, like when I've been on stage playing, and this can be like in big shows or just a club show, like 200, 300, whatever, like something small, a small venue. There'll be times where I'll be playing and I'll just sort of, I don't know, this is strange. I'll go inward and I'll just go, thank you, man. Thank you for this. Like, I can't believe this. Oh, man. Thank you.
What a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's just this connection and it feels spiritual to me. I don't want to be like, I'm not a spiritual person. I don't know. I don't know what I think about all that. I'm not
You're
sure.
You're doing it right now. That is a spiritual experience.
Yeah, it feels like that to me. That's
being grateful to something bigger than you.
That's my spiritual experience. I don't know anything about it. I just know what I think or what I feel about it. But I feel like that when I'm playing music.
Yeah.
Like when it's good, when you're locked.
Yeah,
and you're
something
in that pocket when you're locked.
You kind of go to a new place of a new state of consciousness,
right?
You're in this place.
You're in there.
Yeah,
I don't know how.
And the audience can be with you too.
You're in there.
Yeah,
yeah, and that's when I started going, oh man, like okay, I'm here. Thank you for this. I know it's a gift, and it doesn't pass me by. I know, and I don't know. Just get into that space.
Yeah,
it's weird, man. That's my spirituality.
Yeah,
if there is such a thing, I don't know.
Get on stage having a religious experience, bro.
Within myself, yeah. That means nothing to anybody else, but it means a lot to me.
Honestly, man, I get it. And sometimes you do a gig and you're in your head about something for whatever reason. Maybe you're stressed out about something else, and it can be. And I come off stage of those gigs. Usually, that goes throughout the gig. Right. If I'm able to stay conscious enough, I can go, you know what, enjoy this experience, and that can be a bit of a release. But sometimes you get off stage and you're like, oh, I missed it. Like that's one of those times and you're like, I was just caught up in my own junk and I didn't enjoy the experience that we just had of making music, creating music.
Get out of your own head.
Yeah. But it is, I totally agree with you. There is a place you can get to playing music that is like a drug. It's like a spiritual experience, and you're just like, whoa.
Yeah. I don't know how to explain it.
We're in this thing together, and we're all like,
we're going on this journey. We're in the thing, and you feel it.
Yeah,
yeah. That's when I start doing the self. Oh, thank you, man. Like I'm just grateful.
Yeah,
even now.
Yeah.
And that's authentic.
Yeah,
in myself.
No, you can feel it.
Oh,
Everyone can feel it.
Yeah, I just, I can't believe, if I think back, like I don't know, who knows what our lives would have looked like if we'd taken a different path. But my dad giving me the bass at 12 and man, it's just, it shaped my entire life. The instrument.
Your dad
playing
must
music.
be proud as punch, man.
I don't know, maybe. But no, it's just shaped my entire life.
Yeah.
It's just fascinating. Hey.
Yeah, it is.
It's just music is so powerful.
Yeah.
Such a powerful thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, it's been fascinating to hear your journey so far.
There's more to come for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love playing shows with you, mate.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Same.
It's a lot of fun.
You rock, man. You kill it up front.
Thanks, bro.
You're the best, dude.
Straight back at you.
Thank you, man.
It's a real treat to be up there and look to, you're always at my left.
Yeah, we poke a few faces at each other.
Yeah, to see your smiling face and maybe feed you a tequila every now and again.
Yeah, I don't mind when you're just like a little bird. I feel like
caw. This is when I look over you. Caw.
Exactly what I feel. You're like, come on, all right, let's get.
Yeah. I'm going to start putting it in my mouth and then and I'll vomit.
I reckon
it into
we should
your
do
mouth.
that.
Yeah, we'll do it one day.
Like the spaghetti thing in the sink.
Yeah. Lady in the Tramp.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
it's a real bonding experience. Yeah,
We might as well.
yeah. Speaking of, did you watch those videos I sent you?
No, I'm not watching them.
Why?
No,
Why
because
not?
I saw the thumbnail come up.
What's wrong?
I'm like, I know what this is, but
What do you mean?
I can't.
Why can't you watch them?
Because
This is
I've
really,
got a weak stomach.
This is important stuff, man. I don't know why. I don't know why I watch that stuff.
I don't know why either. I saw the thumbnails. I was like, oh man, I have a weak stomach.
What was the thumbnail that you saw?
It was a foot or something, a heel.
Is it?
And I'm like, I can't.
One of them was it was a big toe that had a severe fungal infection under the toenail, and it was the process of getting rid of that. I knew you'd appreciate that one. And the other one was a guy who had a cockroach that had flown into his ear.
What?
And it was getting the dead cockroach and the wax that had plugged up his ear.
Oh, that's so bad.
Out of his ear. Bro, you should watch it. It's life-changing.
I should.
You'll love it. You'll love it. Just sit down for dinner,
Yeah,
throw
do
them
it right.
on, and let me know your thoughts.
I can handle it.
Yeah. It's good
I'm
stuff.
not sure why you love those.
I don't know either. It's the YouTube.
It's a thing.
The YouTube algorithm has hacked my mind because
no.
I don't like admitting that I like to watch these because I watch them like this.
I've seen you watch them.
Yeah, I'm not like
I've seen you show people go, oh, check this out.
Yeah, I'm like
this is the
but
worst.
I'm like, part of me is like, stop this. Stop
It's like
this
you
now.
can't take your eyes
But I
off
can't.
it.
Yeah, it's like a train wreck. I'm just going, oh.
Mate.
But it's like the YouTube algorithm knows me better than I know myself. I've been hacked. It just suggests this stupid bullshit.
Yeah.
It started off with hoof trimming.
Oh.
So like a farrier, like a guy who the job is to put horseshoes on a horse or a cow that needs a trim.
Yeah.
Pretty, bit weird, but
okay.
pretty harmless.
Not too far.
And then every now and then, some of them, they have like an abscess. They've got an issue. And so then you see them trim it back and clean up the wound and heal it. And then when you start clicking on those videos, it just knows, I'm going to start suggesting fucking pimples and, fungal toenails and
you've become desensitized.
Yeah, I have. And you click on them at your own peril. And now
you get spammed.
Yeah, now I'm getting spammed. And my
you get like podiatrist ads.
Yeah, my YouTube feed is like a mix between Megadeth and the Toe Bro.
Oh, dude.
It's so I need to fix that because it's becoming an issue because now I'm trying to
Yeah, I know
peer
you're doing.
pressure other people into getting into it, and I'm trying to taint you. I'm bringing you down.
You may wear me down.
It's
I'm not sure.
It's a gateway drug.
Well, I mean, you got me looking like you send the message. I'm like, and I see the thumbnail.
Yeah. So you're thinking
that's
about
the
it.
start. Now it's in here.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you'll keep sending. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah. One of these days you'll open one.
Oh, that's how it happens. See,
Yeah.
It's just a slow.
And the next thing you know,
thing.
we're both heroin addicts, and we've
got a podiatry business.
Yeah.
Here on the Gold Coast,
crushing it. Yeah, who cares all the crap we're talking about with music?
Who cares about music
We
anymore,
need to
man?
clean filthy toes.
We do feet.
Yeah, we do feet. Yeah.
Start writing songs about feet.
Yeah. All right, mate, look. Shall we wrap it up?
Thanks for chat.
Thank you for the chat, bro.
Yeah, man.
It's been great. It's been really fascinating. You've been on quite a journey.
Yeah.
And I'm really pleased to call you my friend, man.
Oh, for sure. Thanks, brother.
Cheers,
And,
mate.
see you on a gig soon.
See you at a gig. I don't know when our next one is, but we'll be
better
there.
be soon. I think it's soon.
Yeah, we got lefties. Are you doing lefties?
No, I'm not doing that. But I think we're on something else soon.
We got a bunch lined
We're
up.
on some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll see you soon.
Awesome, dude.
Poke some faces and
Yeah,
do the
yeah,
bird
yeah.
feeding.
Do the baby
thing.
bird.
Yeah.
See you, everyone.
See you, brother.